Let's get nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter, 205. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Appreciate everybody tuned in on a Monday here in St. Louis. You can always reach us during the show via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Again, 314-399-9646. Leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app. Anything we're talking about today that you want to be a part of, great, fantastic. Love to hear from you. And our YouTube channel's up and running at 101 ESPN STL. Boys, good weekend. Jamie, you did a little traveling.
Yeah, I went to lovely Omaha, Nebraska for some soccer with McKinnon, my daughter. It was a good weekend. I can't believe what they've done in Omaha. Honestly, we used to play Omaha in the American League way back in the day. The Omaha Flames, Calgary's farm team. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't as nice as it is now. They've redone all downtown, got these awesome sports bars, and they've got this like big courtyard where you can take a food or drink from any restaurant and go sit out there with whoever you're with.
Sure. It
was a beautiful weekend. Really was. The driving kind of sucked, going 6 hours there and 6 hours back within like 48 hours. But It is what it is.
You mind driving? Doing like long distance?
So 6 hours is kind of my threshold now. I used to be an absolute animal. Like when I would go to Canada in the off season, I would, here in St. Louis, I'd have dinner. I'd eat dinner, and then I'd get on the road and drive through the night. 18 hours, get home, have a little nap, and be ready to go. I wouldn't lose a day. I'd lose a night.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can handle that. I barely sleep anyways. So it'd be great. I'd be like, this is not a big deal. I would just hammer it out, no problem, 10, 12 hours, let's go, bring it. Now 6 hours is my threshold, man. Anything more than 6, and I'm just ready to just tap out.
Yeah. I don't mind long distance.
The knees, the hips, the back, all that starts to just
getting old.
Well, I need to be moving them around, not,
Yeah. Went to Omaha, Nebraska a couple of times to play in a baseball tournament when I was younger, like 12, 13, right? I played for a couple of select teams. We go down there. And our team was pretty good in the Midwest.
You went down south.
Like, we were pretty good. We were beating up teams within our region.
Yeah.
Then we went down to Omaha, Nebraska, and I'll never forget. We played a team from Texas, and I swore they were 25, 26 years old.
Kid was 6'3", 215.
Mustache.
Chest hair,
gold chain.
Drives a cab in the offseason.
Right. Cleanup hitter, looks like Tyler O'Neill. Did anybody check the IDs from these kids on Texas? They beat us like 25-1. I don't even know how we scored the one. We never saw pitching that good. We never saw defense that good. These teams were playing like we didn't win. I think it was a three game tournament. We didn't win a damn game.
Did you have fun though, Anthony? Because those things are about having a good time.
It was fun to stay in a hotel.
Yeah. How old were you?
I was like 12.
Okay. So my daughter seems like 14, 15. And these teenage girls, they have a blast. They're always laughing and joking and like doing these TikToks. And we had a blast. I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, they went down, tied one game, lost another. They're playing in a league now that is like all over the country.
Really?
So it's kind of wild.
It's top notch.
It is, but you also see some of the top notch competition.
Sure.
And the first game was good. Ended up in a draw, 1-1. Was fun. And then the next game, man, we played a team that was real good.
McKinnon's a midfielder?
She's a 10 out there on the field. So she's a forward. She's like an attacker, 10 right in the middle. So there's a lot of action. She's got good speed. I'd like her to not hit the goalie as much with the ball. Would be nice. But she's got good instincts. She's competitive. I'd like to see her get a little more aggressive. That's the one thing. In the second game, the girls team that we played against were like no joke.
Yeah.
Like they established body position at every single 50-50 ball. It'd be like, boom, body in front, boom, body in front. And I'm sitting there on the sidelines. I look at McKinnon, I'm like, get aggressive. And she's like, oh, no. Don't you tell me what to do. And I'm like, just get in the game. Like the girls are shoving you around. No, she isn't. I'm like, yes, she is. Like, I don't tell you go truck her over and put her into the seventh bleacher over there.
Right.
But establish body position. Right. So,
which is something that
Coach
you would know
Sean,
about.
if you're listening right now, one, you do a fantastic job with all these girls. He's a great disciplinarian. He's got structure. It's awesome. They got to get a little tougher. I think that tonight, Wednesday, and Thursday at practice should be loose ball battles. And the loser has to sprint down the field and back because there's got to be some repercussions here.
Wow.
We lost the game 4-1 the second one, but it could have been a little tighter.
Marsh, did you see the 50-50 there on
Please don't
Jamie?
affect my daughter's playing time.
It was 50%. Well, actually, it was like 80-20. It was 80% Coach Rivers. It was 20% Dad. Yeah. Even though she did a nice job, she's athletic, but she's got to get better body positioning. They're pushing her around out there.
Well, she's not a wimp. So that's the thing. Is like she goes and grabs Haas, my 6'5" son, and like squares off with him, like doesn't care. And he's like, "What the hell is she doing?" Like I'm like, she no fear in this child whatsoever. And yet she's kind of like, she is kind of doing it, not. And I'm like, no, establish body position. If she hits the turf, don't worry. The referee's there to either tell you, yeah, you can do that, or no, you can't.
Good call.
Jamie, what kind of soccer dad are you? Because you think of hockey dads, they're the guys that stand in the corner, right? You have the corner guys, they're not up in the bleachers, they're down in the corner. You have the baseball dads who are down the right field line or the left field line. They're not in the stands.
You get
They're
the hockey dads who are the glass foggers?
Yes, exactly. How does that work in soccer? Are you down in the corner? Are you behind the net? Like, what's going on?
No, I'm not super intense. I'm really not. I usually try to sit somewhere near the middle of the field just because I like to see both ends of it. Mm-hmm. And with my daughter being a forward, it's a lot of action, hopefully a lot of action playing offense. And I usually don't say much. I mean, I clap when there's positive things. We have an excellent goalie. She's a rock star. I mean, this girl is unbelievable. So it's always nice to watch her play. She makes big saves and all these things. Like, yeah. But every now and then, you got to buzz the tower a little bit. And McKinnon's number 20. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, hey, 20, how about you get a little more aggressive out there? And she pauses. She's like making sure, was that my dad who said there? Was like somebody else? And as soon as we make eye contact, then she starts with the, like, oh, no, like the finger snap in the head. And I'm like, if you showed that much intensity towards the opposition as you did to me right now, we'd be just fine. And then I go back into my hole, and usually Ashley smacks me and says, stop it. She doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah. She's doing fine, Jamie.
She is. She's good. She's a great little player.
That reminds me of a time when I was playing baseball, and my dad was kind of giving it to me, and I just got so irritated because, I'm like, I'm going out there, I'm playing or whatever, and then I ended up hitting a home run, like, right after that, and I was so pissed off. I was like, I had this face, I'm rounding second base, going to third, and I see him, and I couldn't help but, like, start laughing, start smiling because of it.
I thought you told, I did not see that.
No,
that took a twist.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to come around third and give your dad the old, now what?
No, because...
Now what?
Are
you not entertained? Like I thought Marsh was going to do that. No, he's laughing.
But he was giving it to me, and then I was rounding the bases, and he just started kind of laughing because he knew that I needed that extra push and to get pissed off at him in order to end up doing well on the field. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was funny.
That happened when I was playing youth hockey. My dad, he had a very loud voice, but he never yelled, never nothing. It was like, but every now and then, he would say something, and I could block out almost anything except for my dad when I knew I screwed up. And there's one game, I made a play. It was a bonehead play, like trying to pass it through, and it like got picked off. Guy went in and scored, and my dad waits. His timing was impeccable. Like the crowd kind of hushes down, and all I hear is, "Wake up!" Just like that. And I look up, and I'm like, eye contact with him. I go, shut up! I yelled that. And, oh man, that was not good. I was like, it was like slow mo. I was like, shut up!
The words are leaving your mouth, and you're like trying to grab them
back. And I went back, sat on the bench, and I could just see my dad. He had the arms crossed. Then shook his head, like we'll see.
Yeah.
And game ended, and he wasn't there. I had to get away.
Oh no!
Oh wow!
So I had to tuck the tail, come into the house after the game. But I walked in and I just tried to break the ice. Hey, Dad, saw you left early. And he's like quiet. I go, you missed my 2 goals in the third.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
He's like, son, that's great. If you ever tell me to shut up again in public, I'll take your gear and I'm going to throw it into the river.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Dad, fair enough.
You're gonna go in after him. All right, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. The Cardinals had a horrific weekend in Philadelphia.
What?
Just
let's talk soccer.
we just did. There is one player though that had himself a nice bounce back. We'll talk about him next on 101 ESPN.
Hurry up before the summer's over. Get into Londoff Chevrolet and buy yourself that brand new vehicle or pre-owned vehicle that you are looking for. At Londoff Chevrolet, we all know that buying a car is more than just a price tag. It is. It's way more than just a price tag. From the moment that you walk into the showroom to the moment that you drive off of the lot, the Londoff Chevrolet wants your experience of buying a brand new or pre-owned vehicle to be fantastic. And they want to make you feel like you're part of the family. And what I mean by that is for 20 years now, I've been a customer from Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, and it is like a family. They want to make sure that you're taken care of, your kids are taken care of, their friends are taken care of with great vehicles and great customer service. And now the good news is they've got 2 locations. The original location in Florissant, Missouri, and the new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. Beautiful state-of-the-art service centers as well. Walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. They love hearing that. But if you can't get there in person, it's really easy to get there online. Visit Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
gave up the home early, but settled in, threw a lot more strikes. When you look at his overall usage, I thought he mixed a lot better, kept guys more off balance than his first outing. You look at the fastball usage and the sinker, the forcing of the sinker, there's a difference there. Allowed his slider to play a lot better, threw some splits. But that was a much better outing. It was good for him to walk off the mound feeling good about it.
That was Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol talking about Drew Rom's second start. Of course, Drew Rom's second start went much better than his Major League debut against the Pirates. It certainly did. He allowed 8 runs, 6 earned in just 3 2/3 innings against the Pirates in his Major League debut. On Sunday against the Phillies, gave up a ding-dong Johnson to Kyle Schwarber on the first pitch.
Oh,
boom.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because I thought at that point the soul had left the body. And what I mean by that is Drew Rom comes off a tough outing, to say the least. His first Major League outing. He talks afterwards about how the game just sped up on him. He wasn't slowing it down and all this stuff. And then your very first batter is a guy who can do damage. Mm-hmm. It's a guy who, in the last 10 to 12 games, has been absolutely hammering the first pitch, blindly swinging at the first pitch. And you serve him up a watermelon, and he goes not just yard. He went over the shrubbery.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wouldn't have faulted Drew Rom for falling apart and being like, this is just not, I'm not ready for this. He didn't. Mm-hmm. In fact, he spun it on its head. He had a rough first inning, but he regained his composure, ended out with just one earned run after that whole thing, and then he started the strikeout machine. After that, Anthony, I liked what I saw.
Yeah, I did too. So let's talk a little bit about what Drew Rom did after that, because there were some important things. So again, Kyle Schwarber hits a home run initially, and then he winds up not only settling in, but he wound up getting 9 of the next 11 batters that he faced after walking Bryce Harper to put runners on first and second. So he settles in. 9 of the next 11 batters that he faces, he retires them. He keeps the Cardinals in the bullpen. Now, it was weekend at Bernie's for the offense. The offense had no life to it. But Rom stepping up. Here's why this matters. The Cardinals have not shown, in my opinion, one thing this year. And it's more true now than it was at the start of the year when they were struggling, and it wasn't happening for them. Bad performance, good effort, all that. It's not like they didn't care.
Yeah.
But the performances went sideways. Drew Rom showed one thing yesterday that I hadn't seen most of the year. He showed freaking grit. He showed grit. He bounces back. The Cardinals need more of these types of players. I don't know what Drew Rom is. I don't know if he's a big league pitcher. If he is a big league pitcher, is he a 5? Is he a 4? Is he a 3?
That's a hell of a lineup that he just pitched against.
And the Phillies have been one of the best offenses in baseball over the last 2 weeks. I know it's not a huge sample size, but I'm big. Baseball, to me, more than ever, it's about streaks. And the Phillies over the last 2 weeks, outside of the Mariners, have been the best offense in baseball. So the best offense in the National League over the last 2 weeks. And Drew Rom coming off the worst Major League debut that he probably envisioned, and he does that. If I'm Ollie Marmol, I'm Mo, I'm the Cardinals, I want to see more grit out of this team moving forward. Because again, it's been weekend at Bernie's since that little bump after the trade deadline.
Yeah, no, I agree. And look, I just want to isolate Drew Rom for a minute, because I don't know if our listeners necessarily understand how hard it is to bounce back from such a poor performance, especially when you're all alone on an island out there. It's one thing to be a right fielder and have a tough go. It's another thing to give up 8 runs as a pitcher in your Major League debut, where you don't have the velocity. You don't have the wow factor in your game. So if the stuff is not there, you're screwed. Drew Rom comes back, first pitch, ding-dong Johnson. Oh, my God. It would have been easy for him to just be like, woe is me. He didn't. To your point, he was gritty. He shoved back. And then at one point, I was like, this guy's missing a lot of bats, man.
He struck out Harper.
His stuff is playing. He struck out Schwarber, too, next time around. And then what I liked about what Ollie did is Ollie left him in there as long as he possibly could. There was no kit gloves. He didn't overextend him either, but he got him to a point where he finished a game with a strikeout, and then Ollie comes out. That was the Bryce Harper, or was it the Schwarber strikeout? I'm not sure. One of those two. It was one of those big dogs that struck out, and then Ollie comes out and gets him out of the game. But he left him in there a long time. I was impressed with two things. One, the grit from Drew Rom, the bounce back that he had, and two, that Ollie let him go a little bit. He didn't put the safety net out there, didn't put the helmet in the mouth guard in for the kid. No, he let him go. And now I want to see it again. I'm actually looking forward to Drew Rom's next start because I want to see what he really is. Is he the first version or is he the second version? I want to know.
I hope, to your point about leaving Drew Rom in, I hope that's one thing that the Cardinals and Ollie look at this offseason and say, we didn't do a good enough job allowing our starters when they were locked in to just keep rolling. You know, if it's Adam Wainwright or Miles Mikolas, and boy, Miles Mikolas has struggled a lot lately too. But if it was those two guys and they're struggling and they're giving up 5-6 run in the first 3 innings, you got to go get them. But some of these guys, Montgomery especially, when Montgomery was here, you get to the 6th. If these guys haven't had stressful innings, let them go. Let them roll.
Yeah.
You get into the 7th. You're bearing down a little bit. I just talked about grit times for these guys to show you a little grit because you're worried about.
You're scared of it.
Yes.
You're scared of the moment. As a manager or as a front office, you're scared of what that player can do in the moment.
Right.
Well, how do you know what he can do in the moment till you let him try? That's where I hate the analytics part of it.
I agree.
I hate it. And, go back to the Blake Snell World Series, that whole thing, whatever. But that was like the coming out party of the ugly side of analytics. Mm-hmm. Because now you look at games, and I joke all the time that 6 innings is a new complete game. It kind of is. You get a guy 6 innings, like guys who pitch 7+ innings are unicorns now in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Or they've got managers who understand that this particular guy, he's got whatever it is. He's got the stuff internally that can push him through this. Mm-hmm. Let him go a little bit. And one thing that I isolate too here, or highlight rather, is Paul DeJong was asked about the Atlanta Braves. He's playing for the Giants, and Paul DeJong's been good since being a San Francisco Giant. But they asked Paul DeJong about the Atlanta Braves. What do you like most about that team? He says, what I like most about the Atlanta Braves is their best players play every single game. Mm-hmm. So now look at that however you want. Is that a shot at Ollie? Is it a shot at the Giants? Is it a shot at the Blue Jays? Wherever he's played, because a lot of those teams right now are playing a lot of the matchups, the matchup game. And then you brought this up last week about the Braves. How many games like Acuna's playing? How many games that Olsen's playing? Like their top guys play every game. And now you got a guy like Paul DeJong saying, I like the fact that they play their best players every game. Now I know you can't play 162. I wouldn't want my top guys playing 162, especially coming towards the end of the season. I might taper that off a little bit because playoffs are in the picture for these guys. But I don't know. It speaks volumes when the players are starting to kind of express themselves like that.
It honestly speaks to something else, too. Let's get into that next on 101 ESPN. Before I came in today, I went down to the Missouri Athletic Club, the West Clubhouse, and the downtown spot's great too, but I just enjoy making the Missouri Athletic Club part of my daily routine. So I'll drop off the kids at school and babysitter, and then I head right up 270, and I'd get off at Manchester, and then boom, right there at the Missouri Athletic Club, I get my workout in, shower and get ready there. I love using the sauna there. Kind of got everything, but when it comes to the workout, the gym is fantastic where the weights are, but then they got this other area where, they've got the kettlebells, they've got the row machines, they've got even some boxing equipment that I love for cardio. It's that they kind of got everything all in one spot. And then you walk around, whether you're going to the locker room or wherever, and you notice they've got the racquetball courts going, you've got classes going. It's just kind of a one-stop shop. could eat there. They get the business center there, which I love too. The Missouri Athletic Club is a great spot. It's my MAC.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards were swept by the Phillies this weekend as they lose 3-0 yesterday. Drew Rahm, who we just talked about, went 5 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked 1 and struck out 6. Cards back in action tonight, taking on the San Diego Padres. Adam Wainwright on the mound, going for win number 199. He'll face off against Blake Snell, 6:45 first pitch. Also this weekend, City SC lost to Orlando City by a final score of 2-1. They'll be back in action on Wednesday, taking on FC Dallas at 7:30. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. We're just talking about Drew Rahm having the bounce back. But more so than that, the conversation, Jamie, evolved into what you had said about Paul DeJong making the comments about the Braves. What do you like about the Braves? And Paul DeJong, to paraphrase, said, I like that their best players play every day. Well, it got me thinking a little bit about mindset. Now, Jamie, you and I, we've talked about this before. We don't view analytics as good or bad in baseball.
No.
Analytics are numbers. They're not something to say. They're good, they're bad, they're ruining the game. There's a lot of talk, I feel, these days about analytics, and it's just kind of blanket generalizations. They don't dive into really what the analytics are supposed to be used for. It's just this basic, launch angle's terrible. That's it. Launch angle offense is awful.
Well, and you've got team analytics and team non-analytics, which, by the way, doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
Okay? It's not a black or white, like team yes or team no. Because team no, I can tell you this right now, as soon as you speak, you're using analytics.
Right.
The moment you talk about, a pitcher's delivery comes in, or the second baseman's like, no, you're using analytics. So stop saying I'm a non-analytics guy.
Right.
Because you are, but you're using them in a different way. So there needs to be a blend. And I think that's the biggest problem, going back to your mindset here, is right now, some of the teams, there's no blend of analytics versus grit. We'll call it grit, intestinal fortitude, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so the numbers are now managing the situations, whereas I feel like before, and some certain situations around the league, the players are still allowed to manage it themselves. Like, why do you pay these guys $25 million, $30 million to be on the bump? And then at 5 innings, you're like, well,
that's
numbers tell me,
right.
But why? Roger Clemens pitched into the 9th, 10th inning. Nolan Ryan, I know I'm bringing up some absolute rock stars when it comes to pitching, but Adam Wainwright, 2 years ago, if he didn't get 7 innings or deep, he was pissed. So why don't we go back to letting the players, and it can actually be an individual basis. It doesn't have
Which
to
it
be
should be anyways.
blank. But Anthony, you bite your tongue. You know it's blanket, okay? It's all or nothing. I don't care.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. So I brought up the analytics thing to kind of preface it. I wanted to preface by saying this. We're not analytics are bad. No, analytics are good when it comes to evaluating the numbers and all that. But
you need them.
Yes, you do. Every team uses them. So really, it's just kind of a moot point overall. But Jamie, I wanted to bring up that to say this. I do think where we have gone sideways, and I say we as a team, like the teams have gone a little sideways, is where's the mindset at the start of a year? I got 2 examples. So Leo Mazzoni, I know you want to talk about Leo.
Yeah.
But Leo had been on these airwaves. We've talked to him several times. And one of the things that Leo said was, we threw in spring training. We wanted the guys to get into the habit of knowing they're going to pitch. They're going to pitch. They're going to pitch deep into games. We need their arms to be ready. We need those guys to have the mindset in spring training that they were going to go into the regular season and they were going to grind it out for 162 games. But I've been recently I've been watching the Netflix documentary on the Florida Gators under Urban Meyer. And I think to some degree, if you I won't ruin it for anybody, but to some degree, I think it's a bit of a fluff piece. They're not getting into a lot of the issues.
I think Urban Meyer wrote it.
I think
That's
you're right.
my own personal opinion, Anthony.
I think you're right.
I won't stress everybody else in the fast lane with saying it's a group thought, but for my thought, it's like, how can we make Urban Meyer not look like such an a-hole?
Well, I thought it made him look like an a-hole.
I think he does that by himself.
Yeah. I thought he still looked bad. Like, I thought that it wanted to be a fluff piece, but it ended up not really helping him in any way. It made him kind of...
Yeah, but boy, they could have piled on.
Well,
I kind of wanted to bury
Like, it
him.
justified everything you heard that happened from Jacksonville.
Well, they barely scratched the surface on all the arrests and all the issues that they were... I mean, whatever. But I will say this. So... Urban Meyer wanted those guys to be prepared. I mean, you heard a couple of guys are saying we thought we were going to Iraq the way they were training. Now, they maybe Urban Meyer stepped across the line, but when you're talking about a mindset, a mentality going into a season, the midnight workouts that Tim Tebow and the guys were having, it was a mindset. We need to be prepared to play an SEC schedule, a difficult schedule. We can't limp into the season. We can't just say, hey, we got the best recruiting class. We're going to be fine. It had to be a mentality, right? So with the Cardinals, getting back to the Cardinals, one thing I really hope they look at, even though they use analytics, they use it as much as any other team, Jamie, I hope that part of the mentality going into spring training is our pitchers are going to be prepared to throw. Mm-hmm. The mentality to throw 9, we're going to go 9. Now, if you go 7 or 6, okay. If the game calls for, you've been in 5 stressful innings out of your 6, but you got us to this point, you've done okay, now we're going to play the matchup game with the bullpen. Fine. But have the mentality going into the year that our pitchers are going to compete.
Yeah.
The offense... Goldschmidt, Arenado, Contreras, Gorman, Walker, you're our dudes. you're going to play a lot. Now, we'll find little rest areas, but you're going to play. Have the mentality, you're going into the season to play 162. And we'll scale it back from there. Because you don't want these guys gassed in October. I get that aspect of it too. But I hope that changes heading into spring training next year.
So I wanted to talk about Leo Mazzoni a little bit. And look, we love Leo. He's as old school as it gets. But I feel like some of what he says is still relevant in a big way. And talking to someone who knows Leo very well over the years, he told me a story. And he said he remembered a spring training with Leo with the Braves. And Leo with Glavine, Smoltz. I mean, you go down the list of pitchers they had. Basically called all the starting rotation guys into a meeting and put their asses on the line and said, it is your job to protect our bullpen. Those guys, we got some flamethrowers out there. They're going to come in and they're going to get you your wins. They're going to take care of you guys. But you guys have to take care of them. You go 5 innings, they can't take care of you. You go 4 innings, they can't take care of you. You go 6 innings, they can't take care of you. You keep doing that halfway through the season, they can't take care of you. You take care of the bullpen by going 7 or deeper in every single game, and I promise you I'll have those guys make sure they get the wins for you.
Nice.
But there's no secret to this. And Leo also talked about how, okay, so your velo's dipping a little bit maybe throughout the game. Learn how to pitch.
Right.
Change the location of the pitch. Get it in on the hands. Get it down on the end of the bat. Move it around a little bit. Get through some of these innings. Get it low in the zone. You went from 93 to 90 in the game. Maybe your arm's getting tired a little bit. Change the location. So I know it's not ideal to do that with every single pitcher. And I know that it's a pipe dream to go back to the 90s or the 80s and beyond that. Like, obviously, that's way before. But it's not that different. I don't think it's that different. The problem is that you're conditioning these guys to be different. If you condition them to go back to the way it was meant to be, I think you can get there. If I'm a starting pitcher and I know my job is to go 7, at least, at bare minimum, well, now I pitch the game accordingly. If I know that at 5 innings I can come out of the game,
right?
Who cares?
Yeah,
I'm
a rear back.
Whatever. Throw it in. Well, big deal.
Yeah, let's get back to pitching.
And again, get the rotation to protect the bullpen.
Agreed. Yeah, I love that. I love that story too. I love that because it plays into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The mentality of it all. All right. It's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. A breaking news report happened over the weekend, and then it got even more juicier. It got juicier. You don't need the more there, Jamie.
Why not?
Yeah, it's just English. It's next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, our guy Ron, the Wizard of Comfort, man, he's always got great deals for all of his customers over there at Swiss Air Heating and Cooling. They've got the chill and grill sale right now. Now, what that means is if somebody like the Stalter family purchases a new HVAC system from Swiss Air, you get $1,200 instant rebate, extended parts and labor warranties, and a Blackstone Pro Series 5 burner, 28-inch propane griddle with range top. I mean, that's a great feature as well. But, speaking from experience, the whole HVAC unit is fantastic.
Yeah, man. Just trust me on this. My wife does a remarkable job of ensuring that we get as many bids and quotes as possible, talk to as many because it's a huge purchase, right? We had our entire HVAC system needed to be replaced, AC and furnace. Ron, the Wizard of Comfort, and Swiss Air came out. We saw 4 or 5 different bids, and nobody touched Swiss Air. And then I had a neighbor come up the sidewalk one time and said, "Hey, new AC unit," which is nice and thin on the side of the house. He goes, "Where'd you go?" I go, "Swiss Air." He goes, "So who else did you call?" I listed the other guy. I go, "Don't bother. Just trust me on this. Don't call anybody else." Swiss Air is fantastic. Customer service was fantastic. The deal, the warranty was unbeatable. And Jamie, as you mentioned now, they got that chill and grill sale. Get yourself a Blackstone Pro Series 5 burner, propane griddle with range top. When you replace the AC unit, man, it's fantastic. But you got to call Swiss Air.
Yeah, you got to call them. And that cool, sleek-looking thing outside, that's the Daikin Fit system. It offers you peace and quiet inside and outside, and it looks
quiet.
really cool.
It's super quiet.
And it's really efficient. efficient.
Yep.
So please, all you have to do is call Swiss Air, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you, and it's easy. 636-500-2665. That's 636-500-COOL.
Two years ago, we were looking at Philadelphia quarterback, I'm not calling names, but looking at him. Had he fallen to us there, we would have drafted him. It is our plan when we can, but it very seldom happens to have someone of a high enough quality to be there at the right place with our draft pick. This one worked, and so we're excited about it.
So that was Jerry Jones of the Dallas Cowboys talking about Trey Lance, who was acquired by the Cowboys for a fourth-round pick over the weekend. So that story in and of itself, interesting, because I didn't think the 49ers were going to be able to deal Trey Lance. Lo and behold, they found a taker, and they got a fourth-round pick for him. Bad trade. Bad trade for the 49ers initially. I mean, to move up as high as they did and take Trey Lance third overall and then trade him 3 years later, the 49ers are going to be fine. They're a great organization. They found their other quarterback in Brock Purdy. Great. It's all going to be fine in the end. It was a disastrous trade But things got even more interesting because of Jerry Jones, and we'll tell you why here in a second. But we do have your chance right now to win a pair of tickets for St. Louis Blues night at the Cardinals game, Friday, September 15th. Again, Cardinals game, September 15th. It's Blues night. Fans will receive a Cardinals and Blues-inspired quarter-zip windbreaker, courtesy of Bally Sports Midwest, Jamie's employer. You could text in right now if you have the correct answer to the trivia question that we're going to give you. You got to have the right answer, and you got to be the 101st texter. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Here's a question. If you're listening earlier, Jamie told you what number his daughter is in soccer. What is McKinnon's soccer number? If you have the correct answer, text in right now, 314-399-9646. If you're the 101st texter, you're going to get the Cardinals tickets for September 15th for the St. Louis Blues night. And you can get all the ticket info for St. Louis Blues night at the Cardinals game at cardinals.com/theme. Jamie, getting back to Jerry Jones.
Oh, boy.
So where things got more interesting, there were several reports, including one by ESPN.com. And actually, Jones said it himself, so it wasn't really much of a report. Jones said the team did not give Dak Prescott a heads up before the trade. Okay. Not every player is going to be, in on personnel moves.
We'll get in a second.
But Jones didn't even talk to Mike McCarthy. Jones said Coach Mike McCarthy was not consulted either, though he did say he liked Lance coming into the 2021 draft. So Jerry Jones.
Remember that time you said you liked him?
Yeah. Good news. I got him for you. So Jerry Jones, Jamie, doesn't give his quarterback a heads up, which, okay, all right. But he doesn't give the head coach, wouldn't you talk? This is his offense. This is Mike McCarthy's offense now. Wouldn't you want to talk to him? Hey, is this guy a fit?
Anthony, where do I begin? Jerry Jones always provides us with something, good or bad or whatever. There's always something there. So the fact that Dak Prescott wasn't consulted, I don't care.
Yeah.
You're the player. Just go play. I'm so beyond players having to know. He didn't ask me if I drafted a quarterback and hurt my feelings. Just go play the guy.
I'm going to erase you off social media and then ask you to trade me.
Yeah, that's a joke. Your job is to go play as a quarterback in the NFL. Dak Prescott, don't be shoulder checking then. Play so damn good, Trey Lance doesn't matter to you. That's first part. Second part, how do you not talk to your coach, your GM, your offensive coordinator, your quarterbacks coaches? If things have gone so sideways for Trey Lance in San Francisco, where they have a hell of an offense and a great offensive mind in Kyle Shanahan, what happened? Can we fix him? How do we fix him? How does he fit in? How does he not fit in? All these things have to go on behind closed doors before you make a trade. Now, I understand the trade's a fourth rounder. Big deal. Basically got him for nothing. But the nothing turns into something when players and coaches and that are completely unaware of what the hell's going on. And in fact, Dak Prescott had some comments regarding this whole situation. And I thought he handled it fairly well. But if you read between the lines, you can kind of hear how he's a little bit irritated. Here's Dak Prescott regarding the trade.
I can't say that I necessarily expected it, no. I understand that that's business. I understand that they're probably on a timeline. They need to get something done. And as I said, he felt like that strengthened this team. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised by anything anymore. You've been in this league 8 years, been on this team. It's hard to say that I was surprised, to be honest with you.
This team.
This team. I'm not surprised anymore with this team. Almost you know what? Jerry has a couple of bourbons late at night, and anything's in play.
Yeah.
Me, particular, Jamie Rivers, I order things off Amazon. Jerry Jones, he trades for quarterbacks. Doesn't tell the coach, doesn't tell his team, nothing. Different things, yet, it happens.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't like the vibe of the owner, just going out and doing whatever he wants with a quarterback who couldn't fit in another system.
Yeah.
I don't know, Anthony.
At the very least, and you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, everything you say. At the very least, this also plays into what Jerry Jones has always been about. Ever since he got rid of Jimmy Johnson, who came in, he made the trade, sent Herschel Walker to Minnesota, and used those picks, not just those picks specifically, but picks that he, traded and acquired and all that, to build the 90s Cowboys dynasty. Ever since that point, where Jerry Jones felt that he wasn't getting enough credit for being the owner and wasn't in the spotlight enough, and Jimmy Johnson was getting all the credit. Ever since that point where he said, "See ya, Jimmy, I'm going to bring in Barry Switzer," he hasn't won. He hasn't won big. And Jerry Jones has been on record 10, 15 years ago as saying it's more exciting to draft and acquire players, make trades, free agent, and be in the headlines and to get the credit for that than it is necessarily to just kind of stand back and watch somebody like Jimmy Johnson win. And he hasn't won since.
No.
So at least it does kind of play into his MO. When it comes to Dak Prescott, though, Jamie, he's got a contract now. Dead cap for next year is $61.9 million. Dak's going to be there in 2024. The dead cap.
Trey Lance is no threat to Dak Prescott, Anthony. I don't care how up and down Dak Prescott has been.
I'm just saying, when you start to hear maybe some of the national talking heads talk about what does this mean for Dak? He's got a dead cap hit of $36.4 million in 2025. Dak's their quarterback for the next 3 years at the very least. And you're right, Trey Lance is no threat.
No, not at all, for that matter. I don't even know why they went and got him.
I mean, and it does nothing for Trey Lance because the Cowboys are in win now mode too.
No, but it helped the 49ers.
It helped the 49ers get a fourth-round pick.
Yeah, they got money off the cap, too.
Yeah. Because now the Cowboys have to pay the $10 million.
That's right.
If they decide to cut him.
But now it's on the Cowboys.
Right.
49ers are like, this is great. Because they made a really bad decision. It didn't work out right. Then to cut the guy is going to cost them $10 million on the cap.
Right.
And so that's why when you say, oh, it was a terrible trade, the fourth rounder, I disagree a little bit.
Oh, no, it was a terrible trade initially, is what I'm saying. Because they had to trade with the Dolphins to go up to get to number 3.
No, but even people today, I'd listen to people say, they only got a fourth rounder for a third overall pick.
I'm surprised they got a fourth rounder.
But you're missing the point, too. You're missing the point of the money on the cap that now they can spend elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot. It's not a ton, but it's better than zero. And it's better than a $10 million cap hit for a player that's not even on your team anymore.
And apparently they like Brandon Allen even more. So there's a rule in the NFL this year that you can keep 3 quarterbacks. If you keep 3 quarterbacks on your 53-man roster, you can have that player as an emergency quarterback that doesn't count against your like 46-man roster on game day.
Huh.
So you got to keep him on the roster, the 53-man roster. But on game days, essentially it's a free player. He's the emergency QB. Perfect for the 49ers because I don't know if you watched him last year, Jamie, but it got a little thin at the quarterback position.
If they had anybody that could play, they would have been in the Super Bowl.
Probably. And that's no knock against the Eagles because the Eagles had a great team.
They did.
But the 49ers at that point were rolling.
Yep.
Rolling. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. There is one player having a pretty good stretch for the Cardinals. And that player actually might kind of surprise you. We'll talk about that in about 15 minutes. But we got a lineup game to play next on 101 ESPN. Time to play lineup game here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN, where it is 3:01. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Tonight, Cardinals open up a new series against the San Diego Padres. Blake Snell on the bump for the Padres. Adam Wainwright will be your starter for the Cardinals. So Blake Snell, a left-hander, Jamie. A left-hander on the hill.
Snellzilla.
Maybe a future Cardinal, huh?
I don't know. After I saw Aaron Nola, I'm moving the needle
You're all
over there
in
a
on
little
Nola?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll look good in red next year.
Guy's pretty good.
Phillies red. Yeah, that's right.
I knew it.
That's a layup, huh? Okay. Tommy Edman here?
Yes.
Show us Tommy Edman.
Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy.
Okay. Now, Paul Goldschmidt has not been here in a while. We've seen Tyler O'Neill. We've seen Alec Burleson. We've seen, I don't know. Anybody else I'm missing there? I don't think it's Goldie. Goldie is not Goldie. It's been Goldie 3-4 with Arenado.
Well, Gorman will not be in there. I think it's Tyler O'Neill.
That's kind of what I was thinking with the lefty on the hill. Show us Tyler O'Neill.
My fingers hurt.
Oh, well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Nice.
All right. This is Goldie here, right?
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Show us Paul Goldschmidt, please.
Gold! Rich with gold! Gold!
Jamie, if I may.
Please do.
Show us Nolan Arenado. Oh, okay. Wow. A little pause there had me.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think this is Big Willie here.
Agreed.
Show us that Big Willie Contreras.
Nothing for Big Willie, huh?
Well, not a lot of people got anything last game, Anthony.
No, that's true. All right, 6 here. If Gorman's in the lineup, which he might be, because you're gonna need a second baseman. I could see Gorman here. We've seen Kisner here.
Forget Taylor Motter. Who's pitching for the Cardinals tonight?
Bueno.
Okay. Which catcher gives him the best chance?
Kisner.
His last start, though, was really good until it blew up on him at the end. Who was catching?
Contreras. Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if that means anything, Anthony. But
yeah, let's. I think Contreras is your catcher tonight.
Okay. I'd say this is Gorman.
I think this is Gorman.
I think it's Gorman too. I don't know why he's got
not a lot of ABs.
He had like an 865 OPS against left-handed pitching, which isn't bad.
Yeah,
like it's not fantastic.
And now's the time. I mean, now's the time, right? The back injury's not
hurt. I think it's Nolan Gorman.
So do I. Show us Nolan Gorman. Nice.
All right.
So 7. So Gorman is our second baseman, I would imagine.
Yeah, he's not going to be your DH against a left-handed pitcher.
No.
That's just my opinion.
Is this Walker?
Yes, it is. This is Jordan Walker here.
Okay.
Show us. Walk it like it's hot.
Sorry, guys.
Okay. Well, I feel stupid. Okay, so Edmund center field, O'Neill left field, right field.
I think it's still Walker, but Walker's hitting 8th.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Left field, Goldie.
Where's Mason Wynn? Is he still buried in the 9 hole?
Yeah.
Okay. So this could be Kisner. Could be Andrew Kisner. Go ahead.
Show us Kiss Daddy, please. Nice. Why you're kind of disgusted?
I'm disgusted because we should have had it earlier.
No, not really.
Yeah, you know. Now I think this is Jordan Walker.
Yes,
this
so
is
do
your
I.
guy. Go ahead.
Show us Walk It Like It's Hot, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is
Win.
Yeah, Mason Wynn. Show us Mason Wynn.
Okay.
Not bad, Anthony. Not
there
bad.
We go. Run it, Marsh.
I mean, we're a winning lineup. I don't know about these guys, though.
Yeah.
Well, considering, about 6 of your 9 hitters did not earn a sounder today.
Yeah, they're due.
Well,
They haven't had
Aaron Nola and all.
We started off great.
The last month has been
We
a
did.
little bit tough for the offense.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All right, leading off in center field, Tommy Edman, and batting second in left field, Tyler O'Neill. Batting third, first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fourth, the cleanup hitter, third baseman Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth, the DH Wilson Contreras. Batting sixth, second baseman Nolan Gorman. Batting seventh, the catcher Andrew Kisner. Batting eighth, in right field Jordan Walker. And batting ninth, the shortstop Mason Wynn.
Back. They fair! They fair!
Go foul, go foul!
I don't believe what I just saw!
Home run.
All right, Marsh, update us on those standings, will you? It's been a
Jamie's
while.
at 9.
Jeez.
You're at 7. I'm at 3.
I'm at 7?
I'm sorry, you're at 6.
Oh, I was about to say, did I hit
even
one?
had it. I even had it written down. 963.
Okay.
What
Guys,
area code is that?
963?
Yeah.
That's Kennebunkport, Maine.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, Anthony.
But it's funny.
It's Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Jamie?
I don't know. Lost track now. What is it, Marshy?
It looks like it is Syria County. I don't know what that is.
Syria County.
Okay. All right,
That's all it says, Syria.
It's okay, here we go. Area code 9, that's 936 is located in Texas, but we're looking for 963.
maybe it's
It
overseas.
said area code 963 belongs to Syria.
It's in Syria.
Maybe it's a military person.
Oh,
Guys,
maybe. Yeah.
Thank you for your service, I think.
No, that was that was our standings. You
Here
have
we go.
9 home runs. I have
Lakeland,
6 home runs.
Florida.
He has 3.
Lakeland, Florida.
He said, what?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, I thought it was an area code.
No.
Shoot. I was going to say, it's a text line. We got a nice suggestion from the 618, which is the actual area code here. Says, guys, just give them the Sounders anyways. It's killing the fun of this segment. And I will add this, that us holding them accountable has not helped them this year.
So we should just do it anyways?
I think just, it's up to Marshy.
Are we compromising?
I think so.
We only had one rule. That was to play the Sounders for new people.
And look what it did to the team. We actually may have ruined the season for the
Yeah, they
Cardinals.
gave up.
They
as
gave
soon
up.
as we implemented this rule, they gave up.
That's a bunch of BS.
All right, Marshy.
Okay, but think about this. You're a player. You're listening to your favorite show, which is the Fast Lane. You're driving to the park, right? And you're in the lineup. You don't know that you're in the lineup.
Yeah.
So you get the lineup game, and you're having fun playing along, right? And you don't hear your sounder.
Yeah.
What do you have to live for at that point?
I would
As you're driving.
I would be like, wow, they didn't play my sounder today. Maybe I should go and actually hit the baseball so they can play my sounder tomorrow.
That's not what's happening, though. What's happening is
That's not my fault. That's not your fault. That's not Jamie's fault.
And they're not playing at all.
That's on them.
And then we don't have the fun playing.
Are we about to baby this team right now?
They need something.
They need, yeah. We've been hard on this team.
We absolutely
You've
have.
been really hard on them, Anthony.
So have you,
Yep.
Jamie. We've all been hard on them.
And we thought it was
We've all had a hard on for them.
And correct. And we've thought that was the best thing for them. They apparently didn't appreciate it.
No, not at all. So let's stop doing that and let's baby them now.
Yeah.
I
Like
hate
diapers,
Yeah.
formula.
Well, Anthony
It's
already
really-
has the Depends.
I can share them.
Maybe you can ship it to the Busch Stadium.
Sure. Yeah. If that'll help.
It might.
This
Okay.
is ridiculous.
Jamie,
Yeah.
why don't you go ahead and lead us off?
Okay. Let's see here. I think I'm just going to go out on a limb here, just randomly, because, I haven't looked at any numbers or anything recently of this player. I'm going to go with Wilson Contreras.
Oh, I wrote down Gorman.
Nope.
You just
I
say
have a
that.
reason. Wilson Contreras, please.
Paul Goldschmidt has 2 home runs in his last 29 plate appearances. Why don't you go ahead and give me RL Chalk himself, Yukon Cornelius, Paul Goldschmidt.
Geez. I guess I'll go Andrew Kisner.
Kiss Daddy.
I'm just going to stick with him.
I like it. I like it, Marsh. All right, so Marsh has Kiss Daddy in the Home Run Derby Challenge. Jamie went with Wilson Contreras. I went with Paul Goldschmidt. Speaking of Wilson Contreras, you may not have seen his numbers of late. Dude has proven that he has been a good signing. We'll talk about it next on 101 ESPN. It's a Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. And Jamie, you had forwarded this little nugget to me that you had found on Twitter about Wilson Contreras and his numbers since July 1st.
So what I wanted to do is I wanted to play a game, but I wanted to play the same game with Marshy that I played with you because I thought that was a fun game when we were talking about this.
Yeah.
But a little difficult to do that.
When we're all preparing for the show.
Yeah, we're all prepping for the show.
Let's play it.
All right, Marsh.
Let's play it.
If Jamie and I were to tell you that a certain Cardinal since July 1st had a batting average of .336, which leads the team over that span, an OPB of .443, a slug of .543, and a WRC plus of .173.
Hang on, Anthony. What is average for WRC plus?
100.
Oh, okay. So 73 points above.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Which Cardinal since July 1st would you say fits those numbers?
Let me really think about it. Wilson Contreras!
Oh, man, he's good. Man, he's good. Not Wilson. Marshy. Marshy's really good. And Wilson.
And Wilson, apparently. So Marsh already knew the answer to this, but when Jamie played this game with me in the office, I initially said...
Well, when I was playing with you in the office...
Yeah, you and I were playing.
The first thing you said was
together.
Newt Bar.
Yeah.
Then you went Tyler O'Neill, which I couldn't believe you went there. Then you went Palacios. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because
I'm like, it's supposed to be... It must be... It must be somebody that's really
size, someone who's rocking.
Surprising.
Yeah, no. Yeah. We went through it, and about 5 players in, Anthony said, Contreras? I said, yeah, Contreras. And here we are. And I understand maybe his ability behind the plate is not that of Yadier Molina. That's fine. There are a lot of guys around Major League Baseball who are not that of Yadier Molina. JT Realmuto is not Yadier Molina. Pick another catcher.
Nobody is.
Okay. So what are we doing here? Because Wilson Contreras at 173 WRC plus, like that's every bit of a DH and more.
Yeah.
When you think of the offensive numbers of this guy.
Absolutely.
And so we go back to, well, you can't have him at, 87.5 million as your DH. I understand that. But his numbers since July 1st are right up there with some of the top DHs.
Albert Pujols, by the way, because remember, this was the big conversation. All you did was replace Albert Pujols, his production last year, with Wilson Contreras, which I understand to a point, but you're still expecting Albert to do the exact same thing that he did at the second half last year, which would have been asking a lot. But Albert's WRC plus for the entire year last year is 149. So he had an outstanding season last year. Now, he wasn't playing every day like Wilson Contreras is, so that needs to be factored in. But Wilson Contreras for the season has still put up some pretty good numbers. He's got a 115 WRC plus, so he's still 15 percentage points higher. And he started off slow. This guy's been a pure hitter for you. This is somebody that you signed to be a middle-of-the-order presence. That's what he's been.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit of a rocky start, but for the majority of the season, Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Contreras have been your dudes. Now, the offense has been awful of late. Like the last 2 weeks, the offense has been in the tank.
I believe the word is abysmal.
Abysmal. You don't have Newt. That hurts. Like Newt has become a mainstay. Jordan Walker has slowed way down.
Gorman being out.
Gorman has been out. When he has been in, he's been a little less than average, but Gorman's had a great year. Let's not minimize what he's done. But your offense hasn't been great. But regardless, the offense isn't the problem. And Contreras, whether he's a catcher, a DH, bouncing back between the two, so what? This dude puts up good numbers offensively. Your offense has not been the problem. Run suppression has been the problem. But it is nice, and by the way, I do want to give credit here where credit's due. STL Sports Central on Twitter.
Yeah.
So STL Sports Central on Twitter had these numbers. I don't care where he plays. Just be in the lineup next year. They signed a good player. John Mozeliak deserves a lot of heat for what has transpired this season. The Cardinals front office as a whole, Jamie, deserves a lot. Deserves a lot of criticism for not only his past offseason, but previous off seasons, and some bad drafts that lead you to your pitching, your lack of pitching. But the one signing that they did make, the one legitimate signing they did make in the offseason, he's paid off.
So then what do you do moving forward, Anthony? Because, and maybe it's just me who feels this way. You can certainly chime in here. But to me, the Cardinals have no confidence in Wilson Contreras behind the plate. I think their behavior has portrayed that exactly. Mm-hmm. Anytime that they talk about, even the players will allude to certain things of like Contreras or, behind the plate, it's just different, or we've had a different look, or, whatever. So what do? You do what you did this year. But it's not going to work.
Maybe you ramp up a little bit more with Andrew Knizner behind the plate, give him more games.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do? Midway through the season, before Knizner's had a nice second half here offensively. And we know what he could do behind the plate. He's kind of emerged as like the guy, apparently, that not only the catchers but the pitchers go to when it comes to game planning and the such. But halfway through the season, I said, next year, and even in the second half, Ivan Herrera needs to be splitting time behind the dish with Contreras. He's a young catcher. You got to get him. You got to get his feet wet. So next year could be the Herrera and Contreras show.
But then who coaches those guys? Because Knizner's apparently the catching coach.
That's why I said it halfway through before more and more came out about
so now
Andrew
you're going to have
Knizner.
Contreras, who is less than what they want, teaching Herrera? Or is Herrera now going to come up and teach Contreras again?
You can't move on from Knizner now, apparently. Unless you move Contreras to almost a full-time DH.
And Knizner's earning his spot here. I mean, he has been absolutely raking, too. Yeah. He's been great. I look at it as just a massive problem. To me, I would just ride it out with Contreras. I would move on from Knizner, and I would say, we're going Wilson Contreras. Pitching staff, we report early to spring training, pitchers and catchers. We're bearing down. And Dusty Blake and whoever it is, I would actually go get a specific catching consultant. Again, I'll say this name, Mike Matheny. I would have him lined up right now to sign a contract for next year to be the Cardinals catching consultant. The way he broke things down, and to know that he was the guy, too, who brought Yadier Molina along. And Mike Matheny was a hell of a catcher. Let's put aside how much maybe you don't like the way he managed or how it ended here for Mike Matheny, the manager. Let's go back to Mike Matheny, the catcher, because that guy was pretty damn good. And he paved the way for Yadier Molina. I think that if you put Mike Matheny back in a position of talking to Wilson Contreras, Ivan Herrera, whatever else you've got going on, Contreras is going to respect Mike Matheny. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And you build it now. You're pot committed financially to this. You got to build this up. You cannot afford to have three catchers and your backup catcher's actually the captain of the catchers. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. They got a mess. They got a roster construction problem, really. They got a bit of a mess here. Mm-hmm. So tonight you have the Padres in town to take on the Cardinals. Adam Wainwright will once again attempt to win game number 199 or win to collect win number 199. He'll have to do it against Blake Snell, who's 10-9 on the year, 2.73 ERA. Snell, third straight quality start since August 22nd, but he did take a 3-0 loss to the Marlins. He allowed 3 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings while striking out 8 batters and walking 2. Snell's 1-0 with a 1.80 ERA in 3 career starts against the Cardinals. 2 guys, ironically, that the Cardinals should be looking at this offseason. They faced one over the weekend in Nola, and then tonight they'll face Blake Snell. But both guys are having good seasons. Snell, a great season in the midst of a contract year. And he started off rough last year when he first got to San Diego.
Yeah, it wasn't working for him.
But he ironed it out, and the dude's been phenomenal. I mean, you could not have asked for a better time to put together one of your best seasons, if not your best season, than right now when you're about to hit the open market. It's a Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. The transfer portal, Jamie, it's often viewed as this horrible thing in college football specifically. Let's just stick with college football. Horrible thing for college sports. It's the wild, wild west. Look at all these players. And I want to throw a different take at you about that next on 101 ESPN.
Spicy.
Hey, at some point, the weather isn't going to be great here in St. Louis. It gets awfully nasty. Weather gets nasty. Driving conditions get nasty. If you're still driving in that beater of a car that you've been trying to get rid of for a while now, and you've just got pushing it off and pushing it off and pushing it off, go down to Herculaneum, see my friends at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, and have them set you up with a brand new Nissan. They've got cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, great prices. They've got financing offers for everyone. Good credit, bad credit, doesn't matter. If you need a car, they'll find a way to finance it. And a lot of times, you'll be driving off the lot in a brand new Nissan with a monthly payment much lower than you thought possible. They also have the free nationwide lifetime warranty on all new Nissans, and they have over 700 vehicles in one location. We're not talking about driving all around a different location. Oh, you got to go here, you got to go there. One spot in Herculaneum, brand new facility. You're going to love it. Tell them Stalter sent you. Go get your next new ride at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards lose yesterday by a final score of 3-0. They are swept by Philadelphia. Drew Rahm went 5 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked 1 and struck out 6. Tonight, Adam Wainwright is on the mound going for win number 199. He'll face off against Blake Snell and the San Diego Padres. First pitch is at 6:45. Over the weekend, City SC lost to Orlando City by a final score of 2-1. They'll be back in action on Wednesday, taking on FC Dallas, or Dallas FC. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
So the transfer portal in college sports, we'll stick with college football specifically, has often been viewed, Jamie, as this awful thing. Players enter the transfer portal, no commitment, all that. How many times do we look over, though, look past that the coach, that the player had agreed to go to that specific program. He bolts. But yet everybody's got a problem when the college athlete does it. Now, it's not always the case. Sometimes the athlete just decides, I'm going to go to a bigger spot, a bigger school. But it's often viewed as problematic, the Wild Wild West. I was watching week 0 in college football, though, over the weekend. And the two guys that if you're a diehard college football fan, even though the matchups weren't great, if you were watching college football this weekend, there was 2 storylines that you're intrigued by. One was Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams coming off the Heisman Trophy campaign with USC. USC in the top 10. USC could make a lot of noise this year if their defense can figure it out. But Caleb Williams against, granted, San Jose State, not a great team. He racks up 56 points, the Trojans do. And he had himself 5 total touchdowns, 4 passing, 1 rushing. So he had a big night. The other storyline, again, if you're paying attention in college football week 0, was Sam Hartman. Sam Hartman, former Wake Forest quarterback, was making his debut for Notre Dame, which was in Dublin, to play Navy. Both guys are transfers. Caleb Williams transferred from Oklahoma to USC when Lincoln Riley bolted Oklahoma for USC, and Sam Hartman again played for Wake Forest. The transfer portal in the offseason, I feel like, is this negative thing that everyone wants to talk about. When the games start to happen, though, when the games are played, I'm asking everybody honestly, do you start to get into it? Do you really care about the portal when you start to see the games? Because all anybody could talk about over the weekend was Sam Hartman, Notre Dame, bad Navy team.
If I'm Wake Forest, I care. I know you don't care, but you said, do you care?
I'm asking you as a college football fan.
I guess, listen, I always go back to the bouncing. I'm not a fan of it. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of it. I think that he committed to Wake Forest for a reason. Otherwise, why did he go there? What I don't like is these kids picking a school as a placeholder until something bigger and better comes along. Mm-hmm. And then they just bounce. And that college now, which has dedicated time and resources and money and everything they can to this player, is just sitting there holding nothing. Mm-hmm. I just don't like it. If the coach leaves, I'm all for it. I've told you before, if the coach leaves...
I like your idea.
If the coach leaves, you're automatically qualify for a transfer because that's the coach and that's the guy, the regime that brought you in to play at their college or their university.
Yeah.
If he's no longer there, you deserve an opportunity to go somewhere else because the next guy coming in may not like you and it may not be what you want and it's not what you signed up for. That's it for me. After that, now you picked a college, you play 4 years there. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line. I know you like it from the pure football standpoint. Like, hey, it's a great story. He goes on to Notre Dame. Notre Dame gets out there and he's crushing it now. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's I just think the player committed. Like, there's got to be some level of commitment from the coaching staff as well as the player.
Right. Jamie, I like your viewpoint on this. And I said it before. You have brought this up. If you transfer, it can only be if the coach is either fired or he decides to go on to bigger and better too. But you're a young athlete. You chose a specific program for a specific reason. For example, Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year, went to Oklahoma for Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley bolted. Caleb Williams followed. Won a Heisman. Could win another one. First time since Archie Griffin.
Got to be the odds-on favorite.
He certainly is. Sam Hartman, Wake Forest. Not a lot of attention at Wake Forest. He decides to transfer, winds up going to Notre Dame. You're right. It's a good point. Wake Forest. But as a college football fan, I ain't too worried about Wake Forest. I'm into watching Notre Dame, prolific program in college football. Now that the games have started, are we that worried about the transfer portal?
Me personally, I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care anymore because it's over with. It's done.
Well, I didn't care before either. These kids.
But we make a huge deal out of the transfer portal when it first happens.
Well, everyone's making a big deal about it, but they're not the ones that are playing the game. They're not the ones that are going to these schools. They don't know the ins and outs of what's actually happening at the school. A coach could completely lie about this person's role on the team, and now they're stuck there until this coach gets fired or whatever. Like, we don't know. And there's some kids that they don't have, there's no problems there. They just want to play here because they have more playing time, and then they want to bolt somewhere else. You know what? That's great because it's your career, and if it works out for you, great. If it doesn't, well, that's on you then.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, this isn't about all the other people. It's about the players that are actually playing the game, and they are making adult decisions because they're now adults going to college. This is their future, so why shouldn't you have it in your own hands?
If you sign a contract, Marshy, any contract, a legally binding...
I understand that.
I'm just asking you, if you sign a legally binding contract to spend 3 years here, 101 ESPN, a year into it, you want to go to a competing radio station. Are you allowed to do so?
No, but you are allowed in NCAA. Like, they're using the rules. It's the rules.
My point is that every other industry has contracts and rules and regulations that you have to follow. The transfer portal before used to be you have to sit out a year, correct?
Correct.
I didn't mind it. That's fine. If a player's willing to bounce, he's going to sacrifice a year, and then he gets to play. It's almost like certain non-compete things in this industry. Fine. I just have a huge problem, and I'm going to address a few texts here on the text line. One says, why do coaches get the chance to jump and move? If you listen to the show, we just covered that. I literally just said if the coach bounces, the player can bounce at that point. And if player X, Y, or Z commits to a college and he's the second or third string quarterback, maybe play better. And I know that sounds a little bit cold, but then why did you commit there? Were you told something different? Okay, fine. I get it. You were told you're going to be, you're in the plans. That's life. That's life. Sometimes people hire you for a job and they say, hey, man, you're going to be I can see a path for you. You're going to be the lead guy in my sales team. And you don't get there for 2 or 3 years.
So you should just stay there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Should you just stay there? Like, I'm trying to say I'm a player. I'm trying to make it to the NFL, right? I'm going to do whatever I can to showcase my talents so that I can make it to the NFL. If I'm not playing for two years or whatever, and it's not the situation that I don't want to be in, I'm not going to play. Like, I'm not going to play there. And the NCAA has been screwing over these kids for years.
Well, let's think about Jalen Hurts, too. Like, Jalen Hurts stuck it out at Alabama. He had, as a freshman, led them to the national championship game. Second year was the Tua year. He stuck it out at Alabama because he wanted to graduate from the University of Alabama. And he backed up Tua, wound up getting in the SEC championship game, and then transferred to Oklahoma. It's a great story. So I guess it's kind of on an individual basis. I don't know if
just promoting the way kids are these days. If they're not happy, they just quit and leave and do something.
The thing is, if a kid goes somewhere else and it doesn't work out, I'm not going to feel sorry for that kid, though. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah,
they're making adult decisions. If it works out for them, then great. If it doesn't, that's on them. Then
I'm with you. You made a decision.
But they have a rule in place where they can do that, and so I don't care. I don't care if they do or if they don't.
Right.
I think we're just promoting, bouncing.
Oh, stop it.
No commitment. It's whatever. Oh, I signed my letter of commitment-ish to this college.
Yeah, and then this coach left for
and then I'm allowed to
$43
leave.
million.
And then I'm allowed to leave.
All right. But we all agree. We don't care now that the season started.
I don't care
that they were transferred for you.
When does Colorado play? They got a ton of transfers on
They
their
certainly
team.
do. They needed them. They did. Dion had a completely...
Dion, 57 transfers.
Had to rebuild that program in a hurry.
I'm excited to watch them play.
So am I. I hope Dion does a great job there. But I'll say this too. When it comes to like us as fans, not even football fans, but just sports fans, this often reminds me of like when baseball decided to expand playoffs. Oh, come on! Are you kidding me? And then your team makes it as one of the wild cards.
Yeah.
This is kind of fun.
Now we wish we were a third wild card team.
Right. Yeah. Well, Marsh, why did you bring? I was keeping it general.
I'm not.
With sports. You had to bring up that carcass that is the Cardinals this year.
They are
again.
Carcass.
15 minutes
middle of the road.
In 15 minutes, we have a returner in the Gauntlet because I was terrible again on Friday. I've had a bad 2-game stretch here. I felt like
What
I was a
happened
little
on
bit.
Friday?
I was on a little bit of a hot streak.
What category was it?
It was baseball. You
didn't win?
I didn't win. I got
What was
one
your score?
question right. Or two? One? One. I think I got one. It was bad. Look, no excuses.
It was a tough gauntlet.
No excuses. Play like a champion, And I didn't.
Just transfer somewhere else. You'd be fine.
I can't.
Anthony said Ronald Acuna Jr., who was 29th on Major League Baseball's runs batted in list. Wasn't even an option.
What was the question?
Who's leading Major League Baseball in RBIs?
It's Matt Olson.
Were you listening that day, Jamie? You rub it in my face, huh?
One, I don't mind rubbing it in your face at all.
I know.
2,
you do it a lot.
As much as I can. But Matt Olson, I knew that one. I actually knew that one. Although Ronald Acuna is a good one, but apparently not. What was he?
29th at the time.
Ronald Acuna. Okay, it's not like I said Taylor Motter.
If
I said the Mott sauce is leading the league in RBI, I mean, okay. But Acuna, he's probably going to win the MVP this year, if not for Matt Olson. I wasn't thinking of Matt. Probably should have looked at the options. Look, regardless, okay?
You still would have lost, actually.
I still would have lost. I stunk. Marsh, Jamie, you guys, one of you two is up in the Gauntlet. All right?
Let's go.
But that's coming in 15 minutes. Coming up next, 10 bowl predictions for the Blues this season. We'll get into that here on 101 ESPN.
People who shop at Diamonds Direct for diamonds and engagement rings can't believe the prices.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
I saved between $1,500 and $2,000. Came here first, got a really good price, went around everywhere else, and it wasn't really even close.
I'd looked online. I'd actually shopped a couple of local stores. They could not begin to touch the size, the quality, or the pricing.
Crazy the deal that we got. Couldn't believe I was able to get into a ring like this.
Of all the places that I visited, everybody from mom and pop shops to wholesalers to local franchisees, nobody could compete from a pricing standpoint with Diamonds Direct.
It's because Diamonds Direct is a true direct diamond importer with special access to the world's most exquisite diamonds. No middleman markups and a commitment to beat any price, anywhere, anytime.
Whether it be duty-free in the Caribbean or other countries, Diamonds Direct prices have beaten everything I've looked at.
At least 20% lower than what we had been looking at other stores.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
Get the engagement ring of her dreams at the price you deserve. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. After an injury, you need someone you can trust to explain and carry you through. At Underlaw, we know what it's like to face tough times. We know how hard it can be to see a light at the end of the tunnel, especially when you're hurt, struggling to make ends meet, and overwhelmed by our legal system. We're not only on your side, we're by your side.
Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
Bowl predictions for your St. Louis Blues. That was the theme for Jeremy Rutherford at The Athletic. Says, usually in August, I'm trying to squeeze as many out of a summer as I can because when the NHL season begins, it's a 9-month grind. This past week, though, I found myself itching for Blues training camp. I spent a few days brainstorming ideas and inquiring about interviews. I also brought a calendar, blah, 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 whatever. Let's just get into the predictions. JR, we love you. It's great stuff. Nobody reads the intros, though. Come on. Cut those down. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm gonna throw the prediction out at you.
Oh boy.
This is again JR's 10 bowl predictions for the Blues this season. I'm gonna throw the prediction out at you.
Oof.
You give us a percentage of whether or not that prediction is gonna come true.
Okay, so it's not a agree or disagree.
No, let's just do a percentage.
Okay.
All
right.
Number one, Blues won't name Braden Shen captain, but should.
So the percentage of them not naming him, I guess that's what I would be judging here. Well, I'd like to remain optimistic that Army is going to name a captain. And so the percentage of them not naming Braden Shen the captain, I would say 15%.
15%.
So I think that they will name him the captain.
Number two, Kevin Hayes will boost the chemistry.
Oh, that's going to be a 95% on that one. I'd say 100, but I don't want to get too far out over my skis here.
I'll say 100. I just watched 2 mic'd up Kevin Hayes videos on YouTube this past weekend with when he was with Philly, and he is unbelievable. He's hilarious. I think he's going to fit right in with this group. I'll say 100.
So I think that he fits in, but he doesn't fit in, and that's a good thing because this group's kind of quiet. Can sometimes tend to be not vanilla, but vanilla-ish. And I think a guy like Kevin Hayes is exactly what the doctor ordered. Because there is a lot of personality in that room, but obviously last year was a tough year. And you saw some of that personality kind of disappear because of the circumstances. So having a guy like Kevin Hayes come in here who's going to bring solid two-way playing to begin with, but also some of that personality and that veteran leadership, I think it's going to really help this team.
He has that, like, Pat Maroon type energy to bring that out of some of those quieter guys. I think he's going to be great for the team.
Yeah, and you know what? Underrated here, under the radar, another guy that's going to be really helpful in that locker room, Oscar Sundqvist.
Oh, yeah.
Having just had the opportunity recently to get on the ice with those guys and work with Sonny, and just listening to him, his banter with me, with the other players, with the trainers and all that stuff, it's going to be really good to have Oscar Sundqvist back in the fold here as well.
I can't believe that Marsh just did that, though.
Which part?
He did the whole Shohei Ohtani thing.
Oh, I know.
What?
Wait, you cursed Shohei Ohtani and the Angels.
No, I just said he would be back.
Yeah, 100% with Kevin Hayes.
Anthony, watch the videos. They're hilarious. They're hilarious.
You don't put 100% on anything.
99.9.
Too late now?
Yeah, but you got Mark guaranteed on the box, but
I didn't say they're going to win games. I said he's going to be good for the group.
Well, now he doesn't believe in the team.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not Tanner.
Oh, boy.
Wow. Jeez.
He said last week.
What did he say last week? What did T-Bone say last week?
He said this team should trade at the deadline.
Oh, yeah. They should be sellers. Just tank again.
Well,
it was an interesting take.
I don't tell any team in this entire region to punt. I would never do that.
Yeah. It was an interesting take.
Do that with the Cardinals?
Tanner.
I just did that Friday.
All right, number 3, Jordan Kyrou. Again, we're going over JR's 10 bowl predictions for the Blues. Jordan Kyrou will score 45 goals. Jamie, your percentage of that happening? That's a lot of goals.
That's a lot of goals. That puts him right up at the top tier. Tupperware is great, too. Woof. He'll score 45 goals or more. I will go with 30% on that one.
Okay. Number 4, Jake Neighbors will play on the second line.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 40% on that.
Okay. So
is that based on injury or just merit?
I imagine merit, because I don't think JR is going to be sitting here talking about injuries.
I don't think he wants people to get injured.
No, so I would say merit.
I think it's still a step away for him at this point.
It's still your highest prediction outside of Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
Number 5, Torrey Krug will get traded.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, look at this a couple of different ways. If the team is playing well, he's not being traded. Mm-hmm. Because if the team is playing well, that means Torrey Krug is probably doing his job correctly. And the Blues are probably playing better defensively and probably running a better power play. All of things that Torrey Krug is a big part of. If they're not playing well and things are going south, then I would say that everybody is available at that point. Army's proven that he's not going to sit there and just lose and not try to fix the team somehow. So it's tough to put a percentage on it because it's like, well, how's the team going to be? Mm-hmm. If they're 500 or so, I still think that Torrey Krug's a big part of it. I think that him being traded in season now, because we're pretty much there, 20%.
Number 6, Scott Perunovich will play 70 NHL games.
Yeah, 10%.
Who do you give more of a shot? Scott Perunovich will play 70 NHL games, or Jaromir Jagr will play 3,000 games?
Well, Jag's got a long way to go. He's about 1,400 games off of the...
Just answer the question, please.
Well, Scott Perunovich would have a greater chance of playing 70 games.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not trying to be hardcore on Scott Perunovich, but I'm also taking a little bit of the Vegas stance here on this one. I mean, the Vegas odds, the casinos. Mm-hmm. The stance of he hasn't been able to be healthy in any season yet. And he hasn't been able to prove to anyone that he can play every night in the NHL. How's he going to play almost every night at 70 games?
Yeah.
And they have 9 guys on their blue line right now. How does that work out? That means there might be a rotating group in the bottom 6, which probably where Perunovich slots in at this point. Mm-hmm. So I think 70 is a high number. That's all.
Number 7, Jordan Binnington will have a .915 save percentage.
It's not outlandish, although last year wasn't great. I'd say 65% that would happen. It's going to depend on a lot of things, too. It goes back to Torrey Krug. It goes back to Scott Perunovich. It goes back to Kevin Hayes. All of these guys are instrumental in how Jordan Binnington's season may end up save percentage-wise. If they limit the shots, or the shots, maybe they don't limit them, but the shots are coming from non-dangerous areas, that really pumps up a goalie's save percentage. When guys are left all by themselves backdoor with nobody covering them and they hammer in a one-timer, that doesn't help the goalie's save percentage.
Yeah.
So... anyways.
Number 8, Oscar Sundqvist will be re-signed, but not Jakub Vrana or Kasperi Kapanen.
Okay, this is interesting. You know what? I'll go with 60% on that. And the reason I say that is I think Sonny wants to be here in St. Louis. I think he's going to come in at a reasonable price, no matter what that is for the following season. He brings penalty kill. He can play the power play. He can move up and down your lineup. We just talked about how he can help the locker room and his leadership ability overall. Whereas Kapanen and Vrana are, I believe, going to be unrestricted free agents, which means if they're playing well, great, but are you going to pay the freight for those guys? I'm not sure. Or does Army move on from those guys, go get some assets, and then open up spots for Snuggerud, for Bolduc, for Dvorsky moving forward, because these guys, when they were traded for, were kind of billed as placeholders, gap fillers, while you kind of retool this team. Now, if they go out there and wow the heck out of you, then yeah, you try to re-sign them at a reasonable price. What that price is, I don't know, but I don't know. I could see them moving on from those guys.
I'm going to skip over 9 for now. Number 10, Jimmy Snuggerud, you just mentioned him, will join the Blues at season's end.
He will join the team in some capacity. I think he'll go to Springfield first, and this will all depend on if the Blues are in the playoffs. If the Blues are not in the playoffs, Snuggerud will go right to the American Hockey League, and he'll jump in there, and they'll try to get him some playoff time. Hopefully that team's in the playoffs. If the Blues are in the playoffs, I still see him going to Springfield, and then hopefully becoming maybe like a black ace here, coming up, getting some experience and practicing. I don't think Jimmy Snuggerud gets an NHL game played this upcoming season.
So what's your percentage then?
That he joins the Blues?
Yeah. 0.
So is it joining the team to...
We'll join the Blues at season's end.
But in what capacity? Like to actually play a game or to just practice with the team? And
it'd be great to see the fruits of what the Blues are sowing, which is another reason I can't wait for the year training camp. Doesn't specify.
All right. I'll go with 10%.
Okay. Number 9, last one. I went in different order.
You did a really good job, Anthony.
Thank you.
Right to the end.
Jeremy Rutherford. Well, you'll see why I waved here. I waited. Jeremy Rutherford's 10 bold predictions for the Blues season. Number 9, Jamie Rivers will make us forget about Darren Pang.
One that's not on the list. There's no way.
It is. He goes, I'm kidding, Panger. I love you, buddy. I felt like my last couple of predictions were a little weak, so I figured I'd start a fire. I like Rivers a lot. I think he's extremely knowledgeable about the sport, and he's able to convey his thoughts and observations in an understandable way. I learned something when I'm listening to him and pay particularly close attention when he's breaking down plays. Rivers said it himself when I wrote about him being named as Bally's new TV analyst. Quote, I'm not going to try to be Darren Pang. That's the best approach because Pang was as popular as they come, but I believe in due time, Rivers will be respected for the job he does, and the difference between the two will only be the way they bring the game to you. So don't worry, Panger. You won't be forgotten.
Yeah, no. Nobody's forgetting Darren Pang anytime soon. I'm certainly not. I'm just going to go out there and have some fun and continue to just kind of do what comes naturally, which is break down the game, and hopefully people like it and understand it.
They will. You're the best, man. You're outstanding. All right. Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN.
Getting the best replacement windows is easy. All you have to do is call my friends over at Window World, the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Window World windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They're also ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. It's a double-strength glass, and I've told the story before. I went in the back of the warehouse and was told by the owner to stand on a window and jump up and down. The window did not break. Why is that important? Because that means in summertime, your air conditioning stays in the house. In the wintertime, your heating stays in the house. You're not trying to fuel the outside because your windows are so thin. Also, they give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts of glass breakage and the labor. And that's still going on. They are offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So please don't wait any longer. If you're in the market for replacement windows, call Window World. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number is 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800, or look them up at windowworld.com.
3 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit masstour.com.
Time for the Gauntlet in the Fast Lane 404. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We have Scott back for a second straight Gauntlet. What's up, Scott?
Not much. How's it going, guys?
Good. Hope you had a good weekend. So, you knocked me off on Friday. Would you like to take on Jamie Rivers or Andrew Marsh today?
I think I'm going to go for Jamie today.
Jamie is
All right. Scotty too, hottie. Good luck, my friend.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right, Jamie's going to work his way into the cone of silence. Scott, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Give it a spin, Marshy.
So what are you hoping for, Scott? I didn't have an opportunity to talk to you on Friday about this.
Not hockey.
Not with hockey. Okay. Is there a sport that you like more than others?
No preference, really.
Okay. Well, I always get hockey. Jamie always gets football. It's football today.
All right.
Feel good about that?
Well, I feel better than hockey with Jamie, so.
Okay. All right, so Scott's going to get 4 football questions. Jamie is going to get the same 4 football questions today. Each question is worth 2 points, unless Scott or Jamie want the options. If they want the options, those questions immediately become worth 1 point. Scott, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. We've got some audio here. Grant mixed it up a little bit. We got some audio. So, in Super Bowl 44, Scott, which Saints player made this play to seal the win for the Saints?
Picked off. Look out. Gets past Manning, and it's taken it all the way. Touchdown, New Orleans.
So, which player made that play?
I remember the play, but I can't remember the player. Can I have the options?
Sure. Scott Fajita, Jabari Greer, or Tracy Porter?
Tracy Porter.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Question number 2. Which team was the last to record a special teams touchdown in a Super Bowl?
I'm just going to take an educated guess and say the Patriots. Final answer.
Question number 3, Scott. Who was the head coach of the Broncos when they won Super Bowl 50? Who was the head coach of the Broncos when they won Super Bowl 50?
I should know this. Can I have the options, please?
John Fox, Gary Kubiak, Josh McDaniels.
John Fox. Final answer.
Question number 4. Name all 3 teams Alex Smith played for in his 14 seasons in the NFL.
I know 2 for sure. Can I have the options?
Options are San Francisco, Houston, Kansas City, San Francisco, Kansas City, Washington, or San Francisco, Oakland, Washington.
San Francisco, Kansas City, Washington.
Final answer?
Yep.
All right, we'll bring Jamie back in from the cone of silence. Scott, how you feeling?
Annoyed at myself because I knew 3 of those that I asked for the options on.
Okay. All right. Jamie's walking in. Bit of a kind of a workmanlike strut to Jamie today.
All business here today.
All business today on a Monday. So,
all right. How'd my guy Scotty do?
Go ahead, Marsh, tell him.
Jamie, you're going to have to pack a lunch.
Dang it. All right.
Jamie, the wheel loves spinning hockey for me. Football for you. Your category is football. Who doesn't? All right. Are you ready?
Sure.
Question number 1.
Yeah.
In Super Bowl 44, which Saints player made this play?
Picked off. Look out. Gets past Manning, and it's taken it all the way. Touchdown, New Orleans.
Who made that play to seal the win for the Houday Saints?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or who dat? Who dat, Saints?
My buddy Anthony Hargrove.
Yeah, it's a bang.
My buddy Anthony Hargrove was on this team. Remember we had Anthony come on during the pandemic?
Yep.
Lived across from me here for the Rams. You think I'd know this? Because I was really watching that game for my guy. Give me the options, please.
Scott Fajita, Jabari Greer, Tracy Porter.
Tracy Porter, final answer.
Question number 2. Which team was the last to record a special teams touchdown in a Super Bowl?
Special teams touchdown in a Super Bowl. I'm trying to go through this here. So that would qualify as a punt return, a blocked field goal, blocked punt. Correct? Would consider those would be 3 options that could be available, right, Anthony?
Yes.
Okay. Options, please. Options, please.
Oh, Seattle Seahawks, Baltimore Ravens, New England Patriots.
The last team. The Patriots had the overtime win, but that wasn't special teams. The Ravens defense won them the Super Bowl, but I don't remember it being a special teams thing, although it's probably some blocked punt or something stupid like that. I'll go with the Seahawks. Final answer.
Question number 3.
Well, these are hard.
Who was the head coach of the Broncos when they won Super Bowl 50? Who was the head coach of the Broncos when they won Super Bowl 50?
Okay, so Super Bowl 50. Where are we at now? Can't tell me.
I actually don't know.
Because Dan Reeves was there for an eternity, but I don't think he's the guy. Give me the options, please.
John Fox, Gary Kubiak, Josh McDaniels.
It was Fox. Final answer.
Question number 4. Name all 3 teams Alex Smith played for in his 14 seasons in the NFL.
Name all 3?
Name all 3.
Well, how do I get options then? That's kind of a weird question.
Jamie, would you like the options?
Don't look at me. I didn't write the question.
Oh, you're going to give me 3 teams? So I got to break it down? Okay, well, never mind. Alex Smith was with the 49ers, the Chiefs. Who the hell did he just finish with? I can see it in the documentary. Who the hell did he just finish with? Is it the Cardinals? 49ers, Chiefs, for sure. Anthony? For sure. Is it the Vikings? No. I know. I'm going to pull a Randy Carricker here. I'm going to go through, try to think about the teams here. Indianapolis? No. Oh, my gosh. For time purposes here, this is brutal. It's going to drive me crazy. Options.
Options are San Francisco, Houston, Kansas City, San Francisco, Kansas City, Washington, San Francisco, Oakland, Washington.
San Francisco, Kansas City, Washington. Final answer. Disgusted.
Okay, Jamie's disgusted. Scott, I felt like he was frustrated as well. Let's go over these today. Football, Scott versus Jamie. Name all 3 teams Alex Smith played for in 14 seasons in the NFL. Scott and Jamie, you both took the options. You both landed on San Francisco, Kansas City, and Washington. Correct answer is
San Francisco, Kansas City, and Washington.
That's right. Except for the serious injury with Washington. 1 point for Scott, 1 point for Jamie. In Super Bowl 44, which Saints player made this play to seal the win for the Saints?
Picked off. Look out. past Manning, and it's Tracy Porter taking it all the way. Touchdown, New Orleans.
That's right. Tracy Porter was the correct answer. Jamie, you said Tracy Porter with the options. Scott, you said Tracy Porter with the options. 2-2 tie between Jamie and Scott today. Who was the head coach of the Broncos when they won Super Bowl 50? You guys were both disgusted with yourselves because you both took the options, and as soon as you heard the options, you both said, John Fox. It was John Fox.
It's probably not John Fox.
Correct answer is
Gary Kubiak.
Gary Kubiak. It was. John Fox lost the Super Bowl 2 years before with Denver. He was the head coach with Peyton.
Yeah.
Gary Kubiak was the one that won with Peyton his final season against Carolina and Cam Newton. 2-2 tie. Comes down to this. Which team was the last to record a special teams touchdown in a Super Bowl? Jamie, you grabbed the options.
I did.
And you settled on the Seattle Seahawks. Scott, you did not take the options. But you went with the Patriots, who, as we know from Jamie's options, were an option. If it's the Patriots, Scott wins today. If it's the Seahawks, Jamie wins today. If it's the Baltimore Ravens, well,
oh boy,
we've got a walk-off. Scott.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
It was the Seattle Seahawks. Percy Harvin had an 87-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, I believe, against the Broncos. John Fox's Broncos.
That's all coming together now.
Yeah. But it was Percy Harvin. It was the Seahawks. Jamie wins 3-2 over Scott today. Sorry, Scott. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
It's all good. Cheers, guys.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Have a good one, buddy.
You too.
Well, there you go. I mean, you got 3 out of the 4. You're frustrated, but you got 3 out of the 4.
Those were hard. They were difficult. The Alex Smith one. I mean, come on, man. I should have got that. I was just blanking out, though.
It's all good. And it happens.
I believe he had the same injury, same team, 33 years apart.
Joe Theismann.
Like the same spot on the field, too, wasn't it, or something?
I think so.
It was something crazy.
Same player.
Against the same team, I think. Was it the same team? Or same
Giants?
day or something?
I mean, well, there's a good chance it was the Giants, but I don't think it was the same team. But you're right. It was like the same week, the same time of the game, same spot on the field. Craziness. Marsh's going to look that up. Maybe we'll have that answer for you in a second. Did the Cardinals make a mistake in re-signing Miles Mikolas? We'll get to that next on 101 ESPN.
All right, Anthony, the NFL football season is right around the corner. I know that we're excited, and all of FanDuel customers should be excited as well, because FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get a $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Baby.
Are you kidding me?
Bam.
NFL Sunday ticket, $100 off. Incredible value. And all because you went to FanDuel. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast, and kick off the NFL season with an offer that you won't want to miss. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
20 and older, present Illinois, first line, real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
NFL Sunday ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday ticket, not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required. To watch YouTube TV, redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
surprised me, not that they extended Miles Mikolas. I thought given what he did in 2022 and, with Wainwright retiring and him having the longest tenure in the organization, that made sense to do. But it surprised me that the Cardinals did not explore a multi-year extension with Jordan Montgomery in spring training along the same time. They knew in March they only had Steven Matz locked up under contract, and they knew after Miles they would only have 2 starters. So why not make it 3, right? They didn't do that. I wouldn't say they made a mistake, but they certainly had opportunities to doing so.
That was Katie Wu of The Athletic, who was on BK and Ferrari earlier today, and that's the very subject we're going to get into here. So did the Cardinals make a mistake by re-signing Miles Mikolas? Before we do, congratulations, though, to Chip from St. Charles. He won the Cardinals tickets to the September 15th game, which is Blues night there at Busch Stadium. He had the correct answer to our trivia question, which was Jamie Rivers' youngest daughter, McKinnon, plays soccer. Went to a soccer tournament over the weekend. Jamie kind of broke it down. And he also mentioned McKinnon's soccer number. Correct answer is
number 20.
Number 20, Barry Sanders and McKinnon. Basically same
Jamie
athlete.
Rivers.
Yeah, Jamie Rivers.
Alex Steve.
Yep.
Just a couple of big boys.
It's a good number. Yeah, no doubt. So congratulations to Chip. We have Cardinals tickets to give away each and every day this week. No, I don't think Chip is eligible to win.
Why wouldn't
Cardinals tickets? He'd be working that night, so
he could give them to friends.
He could, but I'm sure he gets his
I don't
own
like
tickets.
the way you've ruled him out. I don't think it's fair.
I don't like the way that you're backing me into a corner like this when it's undeserved.
Oh, now you
undeserved.
Don't like it.
It's a good point. All right, Miles Mikolas. Did the Cardinals make a mistake by re-signing Miles Mikolas? No, they didn't. Let's go back to when they signed him, Jamie. Because here's the thing that we like to do as fans. We like to see how it all works out, and then we like to say, that was stupid. That was a dumb decision. I wouldn't have done that. Would you have done it at the time? So let's go back and look at, as I throw my pen all over the place, let's go back and look at that passion. Italian is just...
Yeah, that's probably something Italian in you should not be doing, is having any objects in your hands when you're talking.
Probably right there.
You're day-to-day at best with some of these things.
There's no question, Jamie. No question at all. Let's go back to when they made the decision. Miles Mikolas last season for the Cardinals. Forget the win-loss record. That's a team thing, not an individual pitcher thing.
Yeah, Marshy.
32 starts he made for the Cardinals. 202 and a third innings, proving that he was healthy again for the first time in about 2 years. 3.29 ERA, a 3.87 FIP, fielding independent percentage, so indicating that the ERA was legit. You got him under contract, Steven Matz under contract, and that's it. Montgomery was going to be a free agent. Waino was going to call it quits. Flaherty was a free agent. Why wouldn't you extend Miles Mikolas? This season, not great. You got to go back to when the decision was made, though. And for me, it was a smart decision then. We'll see how it kind of works out here. This season hasn't been good for Miles Mikolas, but I don't think it was a mistake to sign him at the time. What says you, Jamie?
No, at the time, he was more than worthy of the contract extension. He was. Apart from Adam Wainwright, he was your innings eater. And at the time, there was nothing to indicate that he wouldn't continue that way. And you had to build a staff. Okay, so let's say you don't extend Miles Mikolas. Mm-hmm. You're going out now to try and sign the next Miles Mikolas. I've used this before. This thought process, because you need a guy that's
call it the Colton Parayko.
Call it the Colton Parayko. Let's go back further. Let's call it the Alex Pietrangelo.
Oh, I like it.
The moment you let him walk, you keep trying to replace him, and you can't.
Yeah.
Right. So, Miles Mikolas. It's not that you can't replace Miles Mikolas. Of course you can. Aaron Nola. Yeah, you're right. That's a better replacement. You're 100% right. Not the same category. Mm-hmm. Not the same category or the same money.
Not the same money. Which is really the category.
It is. So if you're looking for a 3-4 starter, but you already know what you have, and Miles Mikolas is a guy, he is a bull. He wants to just keep going. He wants to go 7, 8, 9 innings. He's one of those guys in your rotation that craves more innings.
Yeah.
And he's pissed when he has to leave before 7. Why would I not re-sign this guy? The money is fine. It's not handicapping the club to have re-signed Miles Mikolas. And you know what? Let's go back about a month ago, maybe a month and a half, but Miles Mikolas was one of the only bright spots you had in your rotation. And Jordan Montgomery was up and down and all around at the same time, too. He had good performance, bad performance, good performance, bad performance. And Mikolas was putting together some pretty good starts at the time for the Cardinals. So, in hindsight, now looking back, maybe some question marks around this one. But what are you going to say next year when the team has hopefully improved in a lot of areas, but has a rotation that can support Miles Mikolas, so he's not the only guy out there on an island, and you've got a better defense because you've got some players in place that are actually playing where they should be. What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
Does hindsight still work then? Do you get to go back and say, oh, yeah, that was a great signing? Because I don't ever hear that.
Right.
Or I shouldn't say I don't ever. I seldom hear people go back and say, boy, we sure are lucky he gave that contract extension. Usually they just say, well, he's finally playing the way he should.
Yeah, right.
Well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
So I don't dislike the extension for Miles Mikolas. For me, it was a proven player that you knew what you should be able to kind of expect, and 2, you needed to fill up your rotation. And if you waited for the open market to do it, you'd have paid more for a Miles Mikolas to come in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a win-win.
One final note on this, Jamie, if you dive into the numbers, he's got a 4.66 ERA. Not great.
Oh, read some of the other guys around the league.
Not great. He's got a fielding independent percentage, though, this season of 4.02. So that's a truer indication of how Miles Mikolas is performing, independent of the defense, independent of the offense and run support, and just how he's pitching based on the ballparks that he is pitching in. He's got 4.02 FIP. That's perfectly fine. It's right around, in fact, where his career numbers are, which is 3.97. A lot of the other stuff, the strikeout rate only down a little bit, the walk rate only up a little bit, home runs per 9 down, home run to fly ball ratio down. In certain areas, he's pitching better. It's just been a weird year. April was horrific. Well, yeah. May was incredible. June wasn't good. July was very good. It's just been a weird season for Mikolas.
That's what I'm saying. Can I address something, Anthony? Here on the text line, we've had several of these texts. And I'm not going to isolate area codes because it's several. I'm just going to use one of them. It says, the question is, why not re-sign Montgomery? That way you'd have 3.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was about to...
No, go ahead.
It's like a dog there.
No, you go ahead. You might have a better handle on this than me. So, Anthony, why wouldn't you just keep Montgomery either instead of Mikolas or on top of it and have 3 guys then going into next year?
If that was the choice, I agree. If that was the choice, I agree. Unfortunately, Jordan Montgomery's agent, Scott Boras, was not going to allow him to sign a deal before he hit the market. This was not a go to the grocery store and it's either whole milk or 2%. What would you like? This was I went to the grocery store, 2% was available, and I need milk. Mm-hmm. Jordan Montgomery was re-signing him. Wasn't an option.
I don't think he was ever even considering it. I don't.
Scott Boras was not going to allow him, or any of his clients for that matter, to just say, yeah, no, go ahead, sign me to an extension without testing the open market. Do you know why, Jamie?
Because teams will pay more.
How he's pitching now is why.
Yeah. And
so with all due respect, what you're talking about wasn't even an option.
It wasn't an option. And to add more onto that is the Cardinals were having a horrific season at the time. Why would Jordan Montgomery be inspired to re-sign here?
Right.
When he has free agency looming and more money probably out there than the Cardinals were willing to give him for what he was. The Cardinals weren't going to overpay for Jordan Montgomery. Other teams might when it hits free agency, when they're bidding up against each other. But the Cardinals weren't going to sit here and outbid the Texas Rangers or the Yankees or whoever the heck it is that's in on Jordan Montgomery. He's probably going to get $5 million more than what the Cardinals were willing to pay him yearly.
Right. So with Miles Mikolas, willing to sign a contract extension. Jordan Montgomery, his future completely uncertain. Same thing with Jack Flair. Anybody else? The Cardinals made the right decision. We'll see when it's all said and done if it plays out that way or plays out in the Cardinals' favor. We've been doing this each day over the last week or so. One thing to look for: each team in the AFC East today. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, why would anybody want to feel tired, depressed, be stressed, maybe muscle loss? Why would anybody want to feel that way?
I have no idea, except for you just get into a rut.
Yeah.
And you start feeling that way, and you're like, things will get better eventually.
Change it. Head over to Mentality. Our friends over at Mentality are going to sit down with you. The board-certified physicians are going to talk you through anything. They're going to ask you questions and tell them exactly how you feel, because that's the only way they can help you. And then they do a blood panel, and that doesn't lie. It tells you exactly what's going on. For me, it was low in testosterone as well as other vitamins. And boy, am I glad I went in. My life has been completely different since the day I walked through those doors.
Well, you want to feel 10 years younger? Because if you do,
20 sometimes.
If you want to feel better, you don't want to feel down in the dumps constantly. You don't want to feel tired all the time. You don't want to feel depressed. You don't want to feel moody. Your mood's all over the place. Why am I snapping at everybody? Head down to Mentality. Tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. They got 2 locations, West County and South County. They're professional. It's a clubhouse vibe. You're going to love it.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely love it, and you're going to feel so much better. So please, without hesitation, go see them, or at least visit them online at lowtusa.com. That's Mentality at lowtusa.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff. Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cards lose to the Philadelphia Phillies yesterday by a final score of 3-0. They were swept by Philly. Drew Rom with a bounce-back performance. He went 5 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 2 earned runs. He walked 1 and struck out 6. Adam Wainwright will be on the mound for the Cards tonight, going up against Blake Snell and the Padres. First pitch is at 6:45. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up here in about 15 minutes. If you have any questions, send it our way to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
One thing to look for in the AFC East division, team by team. We've been doing this with the various divisions as we get closer and closer to next Thursday night, which is kickoff of the 2023 NFL season. It'll be the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Detroit Lions. AFC East, boys, we got the Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. Why don't we start off with the Patriots, because they're kind of the team that is really the one that a lot of people look at and say, well, this is going to be the worst team in this division. But as we've talked about a lot before, they had such a disastrous season last year, yet they won 7 games. So they're still led by Bill Belichick. He's got a real offensive coordinator now in Bill O'Brien. Jamie, what's the one thing you're keeping an eye on with your firstborn?
Mac Jones and that offense.
Mac Jones.
I mean, what version are we getting here? Because Mac Jones in his first season had a very good season. Not great, not anything crazy, but I believe he made the Pro Bowl his first season. And, is under Josh McDaniel, but still, then next year they threw 2 defensive coordinators at him and said, well, we'll make 1 offensive coordinator out of these 2 guys. That wasn't great. They've gone back to Bill O'Brien here to hopefully sort this thing out from the offensive side. So my eyeballs go to Mac Jones in the offense, see what they can do.
Marsh?
I'm in the same boat as Jamie. I want to see if this is a prove-it year for Mac Jones. If he ends up playing relatively good, they'll stick with him. If not, maybe this is Mac Jones' last crack at it as a starting quarterback with the Patriots. I feel like Bill Belichick doesn't really have a ton of patience when it comes to that. I feel like the entire storyline and the narrative will be surrounding Mac Jones, because I feel like a lot of people don't know anybody on the team.
That's fair. Make it 3 for 3, guys. He's got a real offense coordinator out now in Bill O'Brien. I think we're going to find out a lot about Mac Jones. The rookie year led the Patriots to the playoffs. It should have been something that you build off of. Instead, last year, because of the decisions that Bill Belichick made with his co-offensive coordinators, it wound up being a disaster. Mac Jones was frustrated virtually all season. He missed some time because of the injury. Bailey Zappi came in and kind of looked pretty, he looked like a better version of Mac Jones. Now he's got a real play caller again. So we're about to find out, I think, all we need to know about Mac Jones. So again, 3 for 3 there with the Patriots. Marsh, how about you with the Dolphins? One thing you're watching.
The Dolphins, can Tua stay healthy? He was pretty damn good last year when he was on the field. And that team they were rolling there for at least the first 5 games of the season. So if he can stay healthy, I think they can definitely repeat what they did last year, at least for most of the year, and be in the playoffs.
Jamie?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm headed too, is Tua. One, can he stay healthy? And if he is healthy, what version do we get of Tua? And if it is the version we saw at the start of last season, then the Dolphins are going to be absolutely in the running for this division. But if for whatever reason, if he can't play well and he can't stay healthy, then the Dolphins are in trouble. So for me, it revolves around Tua.
Tua is the main guy there in terms of the storyline. I'm going to flip to the other side of the ball, though. Vic Fangio steps in as the defensive coordinator. A huge Vic Fangio fan, especially from a defensive standpoint. I think the Dolphins' defense is going to be in pretty good shape this year. Now, the offense, we know about Tyreek Hill, and we know about Jalen Waddle, and we know about the Tua situation that you guys broke down. But defensively, they got I think that's one of the Eagles might be number one. The Dolphins might have the second best front seven in football. And with the way that Vic Fangio, coordinates his defenses, they're very matchup specific. And I think the Dolphins are going to win a couple of games this year based on their defense, not necessarily Mike McDaniel in the offense. So I'll go that route. How about the New York Football Jets, Jamie?
Well, I think this is the obvious one here, Aaron Rodgers. What's the Aaron Rodgers effect on this team? And is it enough? Because everybody has them, winning the division and Super Bowl contender. I don't know if I'm just blind or dumb or I don't know. I don't see it that way. But you watch anything nationally and they're just like, oh, the Jets, it's their division to lose. It's their conference to compete for.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but obviously all of that's going to depend on Aaron Rodgers. How much can he elevate the guys around him, those young receivers and whatnot that the Jets have, some of them anyways. How do they respond? What's the running game going to look like ultimately? How's the defense going to play? Aaron Rodgers for me.
Yeah, to your point, Adam, so I was listening to Adam Shine on Sports, Mad Dog Radio this morning, and he basically he was like scolding people. He's like, if you don't think the Jets are gonna be a good football team this year, you just haven't been paying attention. And I like Adam Shine a lot, but I'm like, have you been paying attention to the offensive line? That offensive line isn't good. And I feel like we're not really talking about it. He had a much better line last year with the Packers. This is not the Aaron Rodgers that ran around the field a lot. And not that he was a completely mobile quarterback, but this is somebody that can buy time with his legs and, move inside and outside the pocket. It's not the same dude anymore. He's playing behind a worse offensive line. So I think when it comes to that, whether or not the Packers, or excuse me, the Jets are going to live up to the hype, the one thing we're not talking about it might be the thing that completely dooms their offense. So I'm with you, Jamie. I think there's a lot more question marks than what people are willing to discuss because they're falling in love with the Aaron Rodgers show. Marsh?
I had two of them, and I knew that you would take the offensive line one. So I decided to go with another one. And will Garrett Wilson emerge as a top 5 wide receiver this season because of Aaron Rodgers?
All right. Last but not least, the Buffalo Bills. Marsh, why don't you go ahead?
I would love to see what they do at head coach if this year goes haywire once again. I know Sean McDermott's a good head coach, but I wonder if they take the approach of, hey, this guy just can't get this team over the hump. Let's bring in another person to see if we can get over the hump. So I wonder if he and the rest of that coaching staff will be coaching like their jobs are on the line.
For me, it's Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. Can he elevate this team to being more than just a playoff team? One, can they win the division? Because this could be ultimately a very competitive division with the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills. If everybody plays well, then those three are going to be battling it out. But can Josh Allen take this team to the next level? Mm-hmm. He just hasn't been able to do that. For whatever reason, whether it's been his own mistake or other mistakes that happen around him, he just hasn't been able to do it. And if he can't do it, do they start dismantling this team? Do they start moving pieces? Do they, like you talk about the coach? Mm-hmm. I look at the players too. Mm-hmm. Who have they got there? Like maybe they start moving players around. So all of my eyes are on Josh Allen.
I don't love the way that this team is built overall. This is the Bills. This year you play playoff games outdoors. If you're happen to hosting games, you got a big quarterback in Josh Allen, and then you surrounded him with a suspect offensive line. They've got two tackles that are now banged up. Your overall offense, Stephon Diggs, a great wide receiver. He's smaller. Trent Sherfield, who they got from Miami, kind of a small, speedy guy. Same thing with Khalil Shakir. I mean, they are built like a dome team. I have talked about this since the Cincinnati loss. They're built like an indoor team. They're not physical. So if they can't figure that out, if Sean McDermott can't say, okay, we need to be a team that can run the ball in December and run the ball in January, including Josh Allen, then they're not going to go anywhere. And they're going to have another disappointing season. Plus, I'm interested to see what Ken Dorsey is. Ken Dorsey a year ago, the offense was fine, but it was it was fine when? September, October, when the weather's fine. And Josh Allen's doing his thing. And you don't have to worry about, the cold in Buffalo and all that. Then as the season wore on, more questions started about Ken Dorsey.
Anthony, are you saying they're soft?
Yes. I'm saying they're soft.
Okay.
And a Buffalo Bills team should never be soft.
Wow. especially with fans that are called the Bills Mafia.
Especially with fans
breaking tables.
that are jumping
Yeah.
off of things and smashing into tables.
At freezing cold temperatures.
At freezing cold temperature and not blinking an eye.
Nope.
Do you think like Walmart, Target, Menards, let's just hypothetically speak, I have no idea if Buffalo has a Menards. Do you think they...
I'm sure they do.
Do you think they get more like of those tables before the season starts?
Oh, yeah.
So here would be my business plan for this, and I don't have to be Walmart or Menards. I could just be Rivers Hardware. Doesn't matter, okay?
Rivers
great name.
Rivers Hardware, where you get all your hardware needs.
That's right. We take care of you. But here's my strategy would be before the season starts, I go buy a truckload of these tables. And every week, I act like I only have 2 or 3 left.
Oh.
And I say, hey, if the Bills win on Sunday, half off the tables on Monday. Now, I upcharge these things big time. So a $10 table I'm selling for $40 now, and then we sell it for $20 after they win. I still make $10 on the table, but I'm selling the truck completely out of tables because everybody's coming to my place because that's where you get the cheap tables.
No doubt.
Yeah. And I always have tables.
Yeah.
I wonder if...
Hell, I'll do a commercial jumping through a damn table.
I wonder if there's a table out there.
Josh Allen jersey.
Those foldable tables that you could actually put back together so you could reuse the table if you're a Bills fan.
I just saw, what I just saw here was old school and new school. Like old school, we're figuring out how to market and upsell.
Yeah.
Figuring out, get people in the door here. Marsh is like new school. How can we improve on this deal this table that already exists?
A breakaway table is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
You
the
just
table
snap
breaks
it right
away
back
and you
together.
snap it back together like Legos.
Yeah.
I don't hate the idea.
I mean, it could already be invented.
Jamie's hardware store is selling that puppy for about $120 though.
Yeah.
That's fine, but think about
you
it.
Use it all season long.
80 after a win.
And then at some point, though, it has to break.
It has to.
Because then what am I doing here? I can't sell a product that never breaks.
Yeah.
Maybe
then they don't need my product anymore after that. Now I have a truck full of tables I can't get rid of.
Marsh just see at Jamie's hardware store. That was it.
But that's okay. I'm going to back the truck up to the tailgates then. I'm going to sell them off the back of the truck now. Because once they get good and just liquored up, you know they're spending $40 on a table.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a better strategy.
That's a better strategy.
Half off on Monday, but on Sundays when I pull up, it's $40 a table.
You're like a food truck, but for tables.
But for tables. Boy, we covered a lot of ground there. I thought we did real,
well done, guys.
real good. What's trending is next on 101 ESPN.
What's trending in the world of sports? The Fast Lane has you covered. What's trending now?
Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate to Goodwill and get a half-price Cardinals ticket voucher.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Guys, Noah Lyles, he is a world champion track athlete. He was getting absolutely ripped by NBA stars for saying this during one of his press conferences.
You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals, and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times. But that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
What are your thoughts on what he said? And, of course, this does apply to other sports, other professional sports here in the United States, but just overall thoughts on what he had to say.
That was some donkey comments right there. Because the best players in the world go to the NBA. If you want to say, like take some of these obscure countries like Slovenia. Slovenia has maybe one or two guys that go on to the NBA, the best players in their country. So that's fine. If you want to do it his way, which is why the Dream Team pounds the snot at everybody every 4 years, is because when they actually send a Dream Team.
Right.
They pound the you-know-what at everybody because every other country doesn't have the volume of players to be the best. So some of these other nations have good teams, but they only have one or two or three guys that ever see the NBA. Why is that? Because the NBA is the best league in the world for these players. So I understand his track and field thing. I get it, but he also runs against some countries that are pathetic as well, as far as how good they are at whatever event that he's competing in.
Yeah.
He's got some countries that just can't match up. So, you can't just cherry pick your argument here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if he was competing all the time against only the best in the world, none of the countries that are subpar, just the best countries, he'd have a harder time probably every single track meet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the comment. The NFL is the best football league in the world. I understand that North America is probably the only place where you're playing a lot of this football.
Yeah, but it stands.
You know,
it's still the world champions. The Chiefs are the world champions.
So I don't like the comment. To me, it just shows ignorance to the fact that he doesn't understand what he's really saying.
Yeah.
He's getting caught up in the Olympics and the flag versus flag. Well, that's fine, but if it's, the guy under one flag, two of the three of the guys are the best in the world, and they go play it in this league, that league is better automatically.
Yeah. No, well said, Jim.
So Kevin Durant, also known as Easy Money Sniper on Instagram.
Wait, is that his or is that his burner?
Which?
No, it's his.
Which account?
Are we sure?
is this?
Kevin Durant commented on the Instagram post that had this comment, and he said, "Somebody help this brother." Then Devin Booker also commented with a facepalm. Damian Lillard said TF, which we know what that means. Aaron Gordon said
Friday?
Tuesday, Friday, for sure. Friday. Aaron Gordon said, "Whatever, I'm smoking buddy in the 200 meter. Tyus Jones said, "Yeah, this ain't it." Udonis Haslem even commented, it says, "Big fan, but that's BS, bro."
I mean, it is. It's just silliness. Stop talking silly. This is another great point. One of the texters says, MLB is the best baseball league in the world, but Japan won the WBC.
Right.
Well, why is that?
Because of Shohei Ohtani, who plays in Major League Baseball, and because...
But also, Team USA didn't send all of their best players.
Right.
A lot of their guys, their pitchers didn't go. And
Yeah.
So, I mean... I don't know.
Yeah.
It just irks me a little bit, that comment.
Last thing here. Per Bob Nightingale, Pete Alonso.
Look at the starting pitch. No offense to Miles Mikolas and Adam Wainwright, but look at the pitching staff alone for the U.S.
Right.
Go ahead.
Per Bob Nightingale, Pete Alonso is expected to be traded this upcoming offseason.
Really?
That's big news.
That is very big news.
Because even though I think he's one of the dorkiest people I've ever seen in pro sports,
he can play.
He can play.
Mm-hmm.
He absolutely punishes baseballs.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good, he's a good first baseman.
Yeah. When he's not throwing first hits into stands.
And getting dummied by Stubby Clapp and things like that.
Doing workouts, mid-home run derby.
Squatting in his cleats.
What a loser.
I actually, one of these days, I hope Eric's listening. Eric's the CEO of Club Fitness. I hope he's listening right now. I'm going to walk into the gym, and I'm going to do a complete workout with hockey skates on. I'm going to have hockey skates on.
I'm sure they'll love that with their
no
floors.
skate guards.
Well, where the squat racks are, as you know, you don't have to. It's all rubberized anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have them in my bag, walk over to the squat rack, put on my skates, and start doing like deadlifts and squats.
And if anybody asks, you say, I'm getting prepared for the upcoming hockey
You know
season.
what we call that, Anthony? We call that dry land workouts.
Yeah.
If it's good for Pete Alonso, it's good for me.
Well said.
But this is surprising, Anthony, to hear this news.
It is. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a market for Pete Alonso. There's no question about that.
I love looking at Twitter and just reading the comments because you have the people that are just irritated and just make no sense, and there's people that just make jokes. This first comment, it has over 50,000 impressions. This guy goes, "Everyone knows Bob is one of the least informed insiders in the game."
Oh.
Come on.
Who's to say that that's
we
not
don't know
true?
that to be. We don't know any of it to be true or not true.
Jeez, back down. All right,
These people.
We got our Sports Six Pack coming up next. If you got a question for us, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. We'll do that next in the Fast Lane.
Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter back with you here, joined by our good buddy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, there was something I was going to do the other day, but I said, I'll do that tomorrow. You know what they call that? Procrastination. That's not very good, is it, Stewie?
It's not very good, but most of the time procrastination is gassed and fueled by fear. And we just closed an ESPN listener that took 6 months to call us. They just didn't want to face the facts that life was getting tough. Their balances on their credit cards were going higher and higher. They need extra cash. This person was on a 15-year loan. They're not making the kind of money they were making, and they just didn't want to face the facts that they're heading for a brick wall. Well, they finally picked up the phone. We saved them over $3,000 a month in payments. That's what put them ahead of the game. It's about quality of life. You don't make money just to make money. You make money so you have a better quality of life. Keep that in the focus all the time. Consolidate the debt. Get rid of those high interest rate credit cards. Take the cash out that you need or extend the term of your loan. Get yourself in a better position. You know who you are. You know you need to do it. Get it done before it gets worse.
And call Stewie right now. One of the things that Jamie and I love about Stewie is that he hands out his personal cell phone number. He does that so you don't have to worry about talking to an automated machine or being pointed to, hey, go online, and then you'd get no answers online. No, you can call Stewie directly at 314-324-4440. Or Jamie, if you missed that number,
you can always Google the bagel loan.
Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good one, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
WXOS, WXOS HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return.
I have a question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is refreshed by Maggie O'Brien's, your go-to Irish pub in St. Louis for over 42 years.
With Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Time for the Sports Six-Pack. Andrew Marsh has got your questions.
Question number 1.
All right, gentlemen, from the 636, you're a bartender, and you see Mo and Gersh enter the bar. You profile their drink selection as they sit. Who orders what?
Oh, wow, this is easy. Mo and I are still in the negotiations of opening our business together. And we have 2 cocktails that we're coming out with. One is the Mojito, as we know, or the Mo Tai. And we have the other one called the Mo Fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Mo's getting, is the Mo Fashioned, because he likes an old fashioned without the simple syrup in it, Anthony. You remember from the pandemic, we asked him.
Yeah.
And he said, more bourbon, less simple syrup for my old fashioned. I drop in a barrel-aged cherry in there for him. Nice and... maybe take the orange peel, burn it a little bit, drop it in that bad boy. I'm going to take care of Mo because I think he needs a drink. After what he's done to this team, I think he needs a drink. And for Gershie, looks like an O'Doul's guy to me. What? I mean, he likes beer. He likes the taste of beer. He doesn't want to get too risky.
I'm giving him 2 Budweisers. So I don't really know how to make drinks.
Why? You're giving them both a Budweiser?
Yeah.
I thought 2 to Gersh.
He might need it.
Keep drinking, buddy.
1 to drink and 1 to smash on the... What? Hey!
So it's a bottle, not like
yes, a couple bottles.
Glass bottle, not aluminum.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. We don't play it safe here in the fast lane.
A couple glass bottles.
Glass bottle. Thin glass, too.
And I'm going to wait.
Hopefully it breaks.
Like Mo asked
What's
for...
the exit velocity on that arm swing?
Mo asked for, old-fashioned, Gersh, I don't know, a glass of wine or something like that. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say, here's a couple of Budweisers. You're going to enjoy those. Why don't you fix that team right now?
What do they tell you to go blank yourself? San Diego.
Well, then I take the 2 beers and drink them. I smash 2 beers on the table and stab them for Cardinals Nation. You're welcome.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Question number 2.
You disrespect this fan base. That's what happens.
There goes the tip.
Right? Well, it'll be the tip. That glass bottle.
The fans expect Anthony to call out Mo and Gersh on the radio. Maybe stop going to baseball games. Hell, even carry a picket sign outside Busch Stadium. But in reality,
he's gonna stab him.
He's gonna stab him with a broken glass beer bottle.
Marshall, hold on here. What? See, everybody overlooks what initiated that. Like everybody, Anthony's a psychopath. What did you say, Marsh? What did you say they said to me?
What did they say?
You said that they would say, what if they tell
blank
you?
yourself?
Yeah. So we got to take it up a notch. Right?
Anthony, whatever floats your boat.
Do we want to win games or not?
Listen, Anthony, I would say that you would be holding them accountable at that point.
Thank you. And everybody wants me to hold Mo and Gersh accountable. Well, I just did.
You'll be watching the season opener from prison next year, but...
I don't know.
You may not be watching it, actually.
Might be hard to find some witnesses.
We'll have 2 people now on access units.
No, but you just said it on the radio, Anthony. It's kind of a bad thing. That's why I tried to hit the dump button, but it's not working.
I'll call my lawyer. We'll figure it out.
You'll be just fine, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Question number 2.
All right. From the 314, who is the biggest NFL sleeper, one team and one player, that no one's talking about or paying attention to, that will surprise this year?
Ooh, Anthony, I'll defer.
One player and one team that nobody's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So I feel like I got to come up with a really, really good sleeper here.
Probably the Texans. That's been your sleeper all year.
Good sleeper.
Basically, who's going to be the next Cincinnati Bengals?
It's going to be the Chargers.
I said when we did this exercise last year, I said the Jaguars. Jamie went with the Chargers.
You know.
One deep sleeper, huh? And one player.
I think the Bears are the sleeper.
How could they be? Literally everyone and their mom is talking about.
Are the Packers a sleeper?
Yes.
Papa Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
We talked about this in the office.
Congratulations, Mr. Love.
Jordan Love will have a better year than Justin Fields.
I agree. And I'll go with Jordan Love as that sleeper player.
There you go.
The Green Bay Packers are going to have a much better year than people think. First of all, let's remember that the Packers, had they won that Week 18 game against Jamie's Detroit Lions, they would have went to the playoffs. They would have been a playoff team last year. That defense improved as the year wore on. Matt LaFleur has not been able to run his offense. He's been running a version of his offense with Aaron Rodgers. I've explained this a lot. Jordan Love is not a rookie. He's been around for a while. I think Matt LaFleur is going to put him in good spots. They've got not one but two good running backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And as I've talked about with the Jets, who are a bottom 10 offensive line, the Packers have a top 10 offensive line.
I got to read some of these texts.
What?
Regarding you and Mo and Gersh. Somebody says, Anthony's getting arrested. He goes, I was just looking for the other half of this bottle.
Here it is. I found a piece here. And there's another piece.
Next on Forensic Files, the Anthony Stalter case, the bottle that didn't fit. Don't worry. A jury of your peers is Cardinal Nation. Probation at worst.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. If I hadn't said this on air, detectives roll into that place, and they're talking to Cardinals fans, right? What happened? They're saying Mo and Gersh came after me. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
636. If you did that now, you'd be hard-pressed to find a jury in St. Louis that would convict you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
It would be the perfect crime.
Yeah.
But it all escalated because of them. Let's not forget that.
You're just defending yourself.
And they try to punch me. Cardinals fans. They try to punch me first.
Well, you got to punch yourself in the face after that.
He's pretty good at hitting himself in the face.
Yeah, you just smash your face and be like, this is what they did to me.
Yeah.
Mo said I put simple syrup in his drink, and he went nuts.
He went crazy. Look at my face. I show him the pictures of when I smashed my face in the pool. Look at this. Looks like you're in Florida. Don't worry about that. I doctored up the background.
It's one of those green screen things.
It's one of those green screen things. I was playing around with a filter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so Packers. Sleeper.
Sure.
I say Steelers.
Okay.
I'm just sidetracked. Go ahead.
Question number 3.
Falcons as well.
From the 314 guys. Whatever. From the 314 guys, Andrew Kisner is awful defensively. Thrown out 4 out of 45 equals 8%. Negative 3.6% framing amongst worst in Major League Baseball. He, quote unquote, calls a good game, ? How?
No, we didn't say he calls a good game. We're very clear about this. In fairness, you may have heard that. You may have thought to yourself that that's what we're talking about. What we're talking about is that apparently, we've got it on good authority, that all the catchers and the pitchers go to him for a game plan situation.
Yeah.
They love his film work and everything. We never said he called a good game or framed well or threw anybody out.
He just calls a better game.
He just calls a better game, apparently. Yes. So, sorry for the confusion on that. He has had a good second half offensively, though. We'll stand by that.
Question number 4.
Jamie, you did the duties. You had the duties of not drafting, but picking the names out of the hat to solidify the 101 ESPN NFL fantasy football draft, which will take place tonight at 7 o'clock. From the 314, which 101 member will have the best draft?
Andrew Marsh.
Oh,
Andrew Marsh by far.
Yeah.
Marsh has got, he showed me his notes before the thing. This guy's got, you talk about analytics, he's got a breakdown on which spot is the best to draft in fantasy football, and he's been studying players left and right. He's got the film. He's got a new place that he's staying at. He showed us the.
He even moved.
He moved. So he had a bigger space for all his fantasy football
all his computer screens.
Yeah, he's got it all.
I got a projector. I go over films.
There is no doubt in my mind that Andrew Marsh will be the number one. He will win this year.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I actually moved closer to Anthony so we can hang out more.
He did. He's a South County kid now.
South County. That's my first time living in that area.
You're over by Grant's farm. We'll take the old kid. We'll take the kids over.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have any kids, but I'll hang out with Killian and the squad.
Absolutely. So here's the deal. We're probably going to just drop them off. We'll knock on the door once you open it. We say, hey, Marsh, we'll be back in about 20 minutes. We won't be. Okay? My wife, Chris, and I will not be back in 20 minutes. And by the time we get back, we'll probably be dropped off by Uber, and we'll be smashed. But
hey, you walk in, you'll find all your kids playing video games.
Drinking Mountain Dew. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah. I think old Piddles will end up having the best draft because there was some controversy whether or not he should even be in the league, which took place today. Piddles?
Yeah, he was late to the dance.
Usually those people are the ones that end up having good drafts. But at the end of the day, you don't win your league on the draft. It's about what you do in season, about who you end up getting throughout the year. So we'll see who does the best.
So I'm taking Marsh.
Question number 5.
Comments like that.
I appreciate that. From the 661, more for Jamie than anyone, but with hockey getting closer and you being Canadian, what's better, Fahrenheit or Celsius? My car reset the temperature gauge to Celsius. I can't reset it, and I figured Jamie would help me decide if one's better than the other.
Well, it's personal preference, of course, but I will say this. I've lived all over the world, and everybody uses Celsius, except for one country. The United States uses Fahrenheit still. I don't know why they haven't changed it. Everybody else changed it a long time ago. And it'd probably be better to just have like one universal way of doing things. But they don't want to do that. So I think Celsius is better just from the standpoint of continuity, because everywhere else you go, they're talking the same lingo. But I live here full time. I don't really spend a whole lot of time other places these days. So I'm fine with whatever.
I like Celsius too. The drink, but I prefer Fahrenheit. Yeah.
I was wondering where you're going with that, Marsh. You landed the plane, though. Nice job.
Thanks.
Question number 6.
All right, we were talking about Bills Mafia earlier in the show from the 636. If you were tailgating with Bills Mafia, could you hang and would you participate?
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Of course I could hang. Are you kidding me? And second of all, I would be disappointed. I would hate myself for not participating. Like, I would absolutely be jumping off the top of a truck into a table.
When in Rome.
Like, yeah, I might be in a hospital for 4 days after, but I'm not going to not participate.
You know what, Jamie? You've been in worse hospitals.
I have been in worse situations,
So,
Anthony.
I don't think it's that big of a
Jamie's
deal.
used to lying on tables.
He certainly is.
Not usually the plastic breakaway, more the steel table, the toe tag, but either way.
And he didn't
table's
realize
a
he was
table.
there for most of it. But
That's a good point.
Yeah, well, he'll fit right in with Bills Mafia.
Great.
You could join 101 ESPN and Bud Light for Blues and Brews on Friday evening, September 22nd at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Get fired up for the blues season at this outdoor street party featuring live music from country music star Chris Lane and local blues musician Marquise Knox, plus appearances by blues players and alumni, food trucks, blues merch, 101 ESPN giveaways, and more. Tickets are on sale now. Visit 101ESPN.com for additional event details and to purchase your tickets for Blues and Brews on September 22nd. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Why do teams get it so wrong at this one position? Jamie was asking that earlier today in the office.
What position is that?
It's a sports position, not the one you were talking about earlier. We'll clarify next on 101 ESPN.
Sounds fun.
Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Jamie, you were looking at the Trey Lance situation in the office and, talking about Zach Wilson as well. And Zach Wilson went number 2 in that draft. Trey Lance, number 3 in that draft. Yeah. He was selected number 2. That makes more sense?
Way more clear. Thank you.
Okay. What was your question, though, in the office? I thought it was well stated.
Well, my question was, how do all these teams get it wrong so much? Like, you go back through the draft.
You use more colorful language, which obviously we can't
but
bring
we don't have the
days.
dump button today, Anthony.
Right.
I just look at every draft for the last 10 years. Now, I wish I had longer period of time to kind of dive into it, but you can find top 5 selections, especially at the quarterback position, that are just never any good in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, average is like the ceiling for them. You look at guys like Mark Sanchez.
Mm-hmm.
He was okay for a small period of time, but he was no good.
He went to back-to-back AFC championships.
But he wasn't very good.
The Jets' defense went to back-to-back AFC championship games.
Ryan Leaf, that was a whole bust in a different way. You've got how many of them have there been over the years, Anthony?
Yeah.
Time after time after time. Johnny Manziel, we just watched that whole thing unfold. Like,
did you watch that Netflix documentary?
I haven't. Listen.
It's pretty good.
My time is at a premium right now. And we are committed to Better Call Saul.
Okay.
And I can't get off of that. Ashley got me hooked on Breaking Bad, which I'd never watched. Now it's Better Call Saul, and I cannot veer off the course.
That's
fantastic show.
It's incredible.
So good.
That's really fun. I know what you mean.
It reminds me a lot of Anthony in some ways.
Which person?
Saul himself. Yeah.
Saul Goodman?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Oh, it's a great thing.
Okay.
It's Goodman. Anyways.
Saul Goodman.
Yeah, Saul Goodman. But the teams get it so wrong. And then you brought up an argument that actually made me even more irate. You were like...
You started opening your mouth, and I got more ticked off.
Well, you were like, well, look at this guy and this guy. And I'm like, exactly. Like, these guys are not... Like, how do they get it so wrong?
Yeah.
Like, that draft. So let's go back here. What got me going here was the Trey Lance draft. First of all, when he got drafted by the 49ers, I was in shock. I couldn't believe a guy that barely played was going that high.
Mm-hmm.
But then I look back, and Zach Wilson went second, right in front of him. Those two guys, like Zach Wilson, might end up being something here when Aaron Rodgers hands the ball off to him at some point when he's retiring.
Yeah.
But he wasn't ready. He was no good. Trey Lance wasn't ready. He's no good yet. Like, year after year, there's these quarterbacks, they just get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are they doing?
I think they're desperate.
Do they just go, oh, this guy's ranked this high, we'll take him?
Because...
Sight unseen. Take 2 of those.
To some degree, yeah. I think they talk themselves into it. When you don't have a quarterback in the NFL and you go through a season or you go through multiple seasons without a quarterback, you realize very quickly that you have no shot to win games if you don't have a good quarterback, if you don't have a decent quarterback. It doesn't matter how good your defense is, and defenses win championships. It doesn't matter how good your skill positions are. If you don't have a quarterback, it all goes to crap. There's nothing you can do. So what you do is you're a bad organization. You probably have bad ownership. You probably have a new head coach for the 5th time in 10 years, and that guy needs a franchise quarterback, and whoever's at the top of the draft, that's who you're going with. Because let's keep this in mind.
Blindly, it's stupid.
Yes. So to your point,
do
Jamie,
some work, damn it.
Well, to your point, it's not like the quarterbacks get reshuffled every year. It's not like a fantasy football draft where all 32 teams get a chance to select the quarterback they want, and once that quarterback's off the board, like, okay, he's gone. You're really just you're limited to whatever's there in that draft. And if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jaguars number 1, now you're left with whatever's available. And that draft,
I pass.
Well, okay, maybe more teams should.
Instead of being the team that drafts a quarterback, then the next year has to draft another quarterback, and the year after that has to draft another quarterback. Pass. Gardner Minshew, he's available for a year. Boom. Nick Foles for a year. I'm going to bridge that gap. Like, those are just 2 guys just randomly. I don't know why they popped in my head, but they did, okay?
Yeah.
Those guys are out there in the NFL. I'm going to bridge the gap with one of those guys for a year, and then wait to the draft that I know has solid NFL prospects. I'm not going to be good. So it might take a year or 2 to get to that quarterback that I...
Who are you right now?
Jamie Rivers.
Jamie Rivers.
Yeah.
Who owns the team? Is the GM? Is the head coach? Who am I talking to?
I'm in charge.
You're the owner?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the owner.
So you're going to be patient?
Well, we're bad anyways, Anthony.
I'm with you, but
I'm the owner. Can you be quiet, please? Thank you. Thank you for listening. We're bad anyways. If we're drafting that high, we had a horrible season the year before.
That's correct.
And to me, to think, if I draft a mid sort of quarterback, but he's ranked high because this year there's no talent, I'm still going to be awful. And I'll probably be awful again the year after. So why not bridge the gap with a guy who can just get the job done? The Baker Mayfields, like whatever, just move the ball up the field as best we can till we get to like next year's draft. And we go, okay, Caleb Williams is our guy. Mm-hmm. We have held on to draft picks. We've maneuvered this, that, the other, whatever it is. We're going all out. This is our franchise quarterback. Now we're all in.
Yeah.
And I trade whatever the hell I have to move up in the draft, or I play so terrible that I'm automatically the first pick. That's the way I would do it. Like, why pick mid-tier quarterbacks just because they're the best in that year's draft? Mm-hmm. That part doesn't make sense to me, that just robotically they're like, well, they're rated the highest. We'll pick them.
Yeah. No, Jamie, look, you're right. I don't think most owners feel that way, though. I think most owners want to win. They're older. You're talking about guys that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Jerry Jones is, 80? So you're looking at guys that have a lot of money. They're not they're not patient. They want to win, and they want the guy, the GM or the head coach, to come to tell them, hey, this is the guy. I can turn him into a franchise quarterback. So I think there's a lot of impatience. For you, if you're an owner, you might be patient. I think that's the smart way to go. Some teams operate that way. Some teams have passed. I mean, there's been teams in the top 10 over the last couple of years that have passed on these quarterbacks, probably thinking the same way you do. I think the overall the bigger issue, though, Jamie, if you were going to ask me, what's the one reason?
Anthony, what's the one reason?
What's the one reason these teams continued to screw up the QB spot? It's the same thing I've been saying for years now. They do not have the play caller to understand what quarterback he needs and he wants for his offense. I go back to Bill Walsh every time. Bill Walsh figured it out. Most teams don't, but Bill Walsh figured it out. Joe Montana can't play for everybody. He can be perfect in my system. Won multiple Super Bowls. Tom Brady, Josh McDaniels developed the Tom Brady offense, essentially. Won a bunch. And they also had Bill Belichick. Patrick Mahomes is the perfect fit for Andy Reid. Andy Reid had his offense, knew what he wanted to do, and knew what Patrick Mahomes could do. He altered the offense. It's the marriage of the offense to the quarterback, and I don't think teams do that. I think they draft Zach Wilson and say, you're the franchise now, kid, go get him. And Zach Wilson is a disaster because he doesn't know how to play the pro game, he doesn't have any help, and he's not in an offense that suits him.
Which is exactly why you shouldn't have picked him.
You're right.
Your team wasn't ready for Zach Wilson.
You're right.
So go build your team. Continue to have gap fillers in there at quarterback until you get your team and your offensive coordinator to identify exactly what are we offensively. Here's what we are. Okay, great. This is not our guy. Yeah. We need to find a quarterback that fits this, with this offensive line, with these running backs, with these wide receivers. This is what we need here, and then go get that quarterback.
Right. And it might not be the number 2 overall pick.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Identify the best player for your system.
Brock Purdy fits perfectly into Kyle Shanahan's offense. They took him with the last pick.
Just pisses me off that I feel like the NFL scouts are lazy. I feel like the GMs are lazy in the fact that they look at the rankings and they go, all right, I guess he's the best one. We just take him. It's lazy. It's if I was an owner, I'd be more pissed at that than I would be at having to tank a season to get what I need. Because indirectly, I tank the season anyways by drafting a player that isn't good enough.
Right.
I don't know. It's just astonishing to me that the NFL, with all the resources that they have, all the information available to them, that they just automatically go in the wrong direction and don't realize what they're doing.
It's not a perfect science, though. It's not. It's not perfect size.
Well, it needs to be.
Fall in love with the quarterback.
Perfecter.
Okay, there you go. That's Jamie Rivers. We need a new Beat the Streak contestant. So new Beat the Streak contestant. If you want to play Beat the Streak, you can. 314-399-9646. Just text in Streak, and you have an opportunity to play Beat the Streak. Next on 101 ESPN.
All right, listen up. If you're looking to change the look of your kitchen or your bathroom, upgrade it, change it, whatever it is you're going to do, please go visit my friends over at E&B Granite for a no-obligation consultation. E&B Granite, located at 6135 Manchester Avenue. They've been proudly providing St. Louis with exceptional customer service and products for over 20 years. And here's what I can tell you. I redid my kitchen with E&B Granite, and I really didn't know what I was looking for. Walked in, sales representative started talking to me, asking me questions, and then I didn't know anything about backsplashes. They came up with a fantastic idea. I ended up going with a quartz countertop and ran the countertop up the wall like a backsplash. It looks incredible. I would have never been able to do that without the representative helping me through it, and I also wouldn't have been able to see what that the slab would look like for my countertop if I didn't go into the back where they have everything sitting there so you can see exactly what the pattern is and you get a real good vision for what it is that will be in your kitchen or your bathroom. So please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call them, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number's 314-645-9300. Again, that's 314-645-9300, or you can visit them at enbgranite.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards are back in action tonight, taking on the San Diego Padres. They were just swept by the Phillies over the weekend. Adam Wainwright looking for win number 199. He'll face off against Blake Snell. First pitch tonight is at 6:45. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the 101 mobile app. You can find the full show there. It is all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Beat the Streak and biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hit baseballs. All of my successes depend on me.
You're ready to hit.
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
Time to play Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh, and Nick is our latest contestant. What's up, Nick?
What's up, fellas? How are you guys?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for letting me join.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thanks for playing. All right, so it's Beat the Streak. This is where we select one player from tonight's game between the Cardinals and Padres, and that one player's got to get hit. Can get hit at any point, doesn't matter. But as soon as that player's off the board, nobody else can take him. Marsh, before we get to our selections, what is our latest streaks?
All right, Anthony, you have 3. I have 3. Jamie, you are back to 0. You actually have a 3-hit losing streak, if you want to call it that.
Who picked for me on Friday?
Michelle did. She picked Mason Wynn.
Nice job, Michelle.
And then James, unfortunately, had his children pick for him.
No,
they picked Andrew Kisner, and he did not get a hit.
It's all the kids' fault.
James, this is the second time somebody has let
defer to your children. That's on him.
This is the second time a child has picked for dad.
We should have a rule.
And the second time
Children
in a row.
Can't get involved in this.
Second time in a row, that child has let that father down. Okay. I'm on
first. Having a tough day here.
No,
he's
I'm not.
hardcore today.
Oh, just saying. I'm pointing something out. All right.
Excellent.
Analytics at its finest. Fernando Tatis Jr. is my selection. Fernando Tatis Jr.
Out on a limb, are you?
I don't have to go out on a limb. I just need to get a hit tonight. Take a player that's going to get a hit tonight.
All right.
Marshy.
If you don't think 170 average Matt Carpenter is not getting a hit off his old friend Adam Wainwright tonight, you'd be wrong.
Wow.
I'm going with Matt Carpenter, former Cardinal.
Oh, you know, Marsh? I thought he mailed in his last pick. He goes, I'll take Brandon Marsh.
The guy's been on like an 8-game hitting streak.
And he had, 2 hits, 3 hits on Friday night?
2 hits on Friday. I think he had a home run on Saturday.
So I am not going to say anything about Marsh's selection tonight.
I'm here for the storyline.
Yeah, you do. You like the storyline when it comes to Beat the Streak. All right, Nick, who would you like?
I'm going to go with the should-have-been Cardinal, Juan Soto.
Son of a...
Juan Soto.
I'm not happy now.
Jamie, there's still plenty of Padres that are good that are available.
Yeah, I know, but that's the one I wanted.
Yeah, basically any of them. He's right. Nick is right. Basically any of them.
All right, this guy here has been raging lately. Raging. He's been upset, ticked off, all the above. Manny Machado.
Okay, I thought you were going to go Wilson Contreras.
No.
Solid.
He hasn't been raging. Well, a little bit. But Machado beat the hell out of something the other day with a baseball bat, and he was arguing with somebody else. He's really just been on one.
Okay, so looking at tonight's board here, we all got Padres. I took Tatis.
Random.
Marsh went Matt Carpenter. Our guy Nick went Juan Soto. And Jamie took Manny Machado.
Are we trying to be sentimental? Or are we trying to win?
No, we're trying to win. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Psychology for Waino.
What's that?
That reverse psychology for Waino to get that 199.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
That's exactly, Nick. You're right. I'm glad we're all on the same page here, Nick, of what we were trying to do.
On the bum?
Yeah.
I know.
Nick, well said. All right, buddy. Well, hopefully we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great show.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
I said you too, like, you're at the movie theater. Enjoy your show, you too. Yeah. Son of a. I just did that tonight.
Maybe they're watching.
What is wrong with me?
Well, Anthony,
where do we
time
start?
for that.
Yeah, good call. Time for the biggest question of the day.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, gentlemen, I don't know if you saw this. Maybe you did. But Kelly Stafford on a podcast.
Matthew Stafford's wife.
His wife.
Stafford, of course, went to Stanford.
Matthew Stanford went to Stanford. Different player, Anthony.
You know what? At least he didn't say Jaromir Jagr's got 3,000 games.
Good point.
Anyways, she said,
boy, we lose it sometimes, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
When talking about her husband, Matthew Stafford, who plays on the Los Angeles Rams, who's the quarterback for Anthony's favorite coach.
Oh, come on.
She said, he said it's so different and so hard to get to know these guys. He had a book printed out. He had the equipment guy get a book printed of all their faces and all of their names. Because he's like, I need to know their names. What are you guys' thoughts on Matthew Stafford not knowing any of his teammates?
Okay, so
I want to take this in a different direction. I don't care if he knows his teammates or not, quite honestly. He should, okay? He's the quarterback of the
quarterback.
team. Okay, I'm just angry here for a second. Let me compartmentalize my answer here, okay? Let's talk about Matthew Stafford first.
Okay.
You're the quarterback of the team, the leader of your offense. Go sit down with your young players. You've got all of training camp. They do lunches. They do video. They do all sorts of things. Go sit down.
You're with these guys 24/7.
Go talk to them. Go find out what the new rage is on TikTok. Go find out if it's TikTok or Snapchat. Which one do you like better? I know that's nothing to do with football, but this is bigger than football. Get to know your guys. If you don't know who the hell your teammates are, how can you address them in the meetings? How can you really find out what their personality is in a clutch moment? This guy's a little bit of risk taker. I'm talking to him. He's a little out there. I like this guy,
right.
Or this guy here. I know he's not. He's Mr. Safety over here. That's the quarterback's job. That's a leader's job. Go get to know your teammates. It's not their job to come and get to know you because they're probably a little intimidated. This guy's a Super Bowl champ. He's had a hell of a career. His wife is always talking smack on the radio. We'll get to her in a second. And, so it's Matthew Stafford's job to go out to extend himself to these younger players.
Right.
And make sure he knows who they are. The whole cheating chart, that's just absurd for him to even say that. It's insulting to the young players.
What does Julian Edelman say? What has Rob Gronkowski said? What has every receiver that has ever played for Tom Brady ever said? They figured out what he wants because they wanted the football. Matthew Stafford, he can say whatever he wants. He doesn't have to be a jerk, but hey, do you want the football? Because I got Cooper Kupp. I could throw him the ball 15 times a game, and I will. Do you want to learn what I have to offer or not? Now, I know you got another side here.
Yeah, my side note to this is Kelly Stafford. Just be quiet. What are you doing here?
She's got a podcast.
Okay, great. Have the podcast when your husband retires.
By the way, it's called The Morning After.
That's copyright infringement.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We already have that. It already exists.
Was she on The Morning After and we just didn't realize it was
the morning after STL. I wonder if there is a discrepancy there. Either way, her morning after should be after the career is what it should be called. Honestly,
morning after my husband's career.
Okay, I'm aggravated. If my wife was on her own podcast divulging things about me or my team or the coach or whatever it is while I'm playing, I'm taking a hammer to the laptop or the soundboard and I'm just bashing it and saying, honey, I appreciate your creativeness. I think that you are driven. You're a wonderful mother. I love you very much. Have a podcast about anything but football, though, please. Let's not go there because you're making me look like an idiot. And bottom line, that's it. Like, why is she out there saying this stuff? So now he's got to go the next day and
in a locker room
and then put himself in front of the media and answer questions about something that may have been taken out of context too. She might be hand-picking one thing he said, like even joking around. I don't even know who my wide receivers are this year. And she's like, well, he doesn't even know the players. He means like, no.
They're on their phones.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just creates, muddied waters where it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Again, honey, I appreciate everything that you're doing. Do a different type of podcast. Go build your own brand.
Do one on college football. Or the rest of the NFL.
Do it on Stanford.
Do it on Stanford. Absolutely. Or
honestly,
Georgia.
I would have a very honest conversation with my significant other. If this, first of all, before it started, I would lay guidelines down and say, listen, you need to protect our career in the NFL. What's your vision for this podcast? Because I want to support you, but we have to make sure we do this the right way.
Yeah.
And if we do it the right way, man, I can get behind this thing and we can really grow this.
Yeah.
But I can't get behind this thing if you're going to critique my teammates, my coaches, the city I'm playing in. Like, she went after the Lions and all that just to get them traded out.
Well, and then she hyped up the Lions, talking about how they do such a great job of organizing team events and team activities, and the Rams apparently don't do that. So it's like wherever she is, she's just going to lambaste the organization.
It's just it's a bad setup for the other person, whether it's a husband or wife. One,
right, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
All right.
I could go on, Anthony. I
know you got more on this. Fortunately, we have 4 more hours tomorrow, so we'll probably dedicate another 4 hours or so to this or other things. Yeah. All right. What you missed?
I could really go on about this.
I know, Jamie. You got more to say. What you missed next on 101 ESPN?
Fellas, it's game time. It's go time. But the equipment ain't working properly, right? Get your ED meds at the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. Again, nobody cares if you're using ED meds, but I personally care that you're paying too much. And the Medicine Shop in St. Charles, they've got a generic called Sildenafil right now and always for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, of course, but they'll get you there, I promise. Now, the other services that the Medicine Shop in St. Charles have is if you have medicines on a regular basis that you can't get to the pharmacy, whatever's busy life, whether it's your job, your kids, after sports activity or after school activities, Medicine Shop in St. Charles offers free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace of these medicines. It is a fantastic program. Please take advantage of it. And if you need the pharmacy at all, they've got a beautiful pharmacy located in St. Charles. Walk in, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you. They'll answer all your questions. They'll offer suggestions. And at the end of the day, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to make sure you're taken care of. So please, again, get in there and visit them. But if you can't, at least visit them online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
miss anything from today's show, you can. Whoops. Jamie was getting out a little early.
Somehow I wrapped everything up. I put the stuff back. I looked over at you, and I was like, oh, man, he's still going. Time to put the headphones back on.
If you miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app, brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Don't forget to get signed up today to play in this year's Fastlane Pick'em Challenge at 101ESPN.com. Make all your football picks each week and see if you can defeat us, the Fastlane, and the dudes from the Rizzuto Show. Fastlane, Riz Show, throwing down all football season long in the Pick'em Challenge. Get signed up to play now at 101ESPN.com, courtesy of Bud Light. Marshy.
Yes.
Criticisms and compliments.
No shock here. We have our fantasy football draft here in about an hour. From the 6-1 hate, fantasy football has ruined football.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
At least the brand is consistent. I give them that.
It spans beyond Cardinals baseball.
It is, which is impressive. Well done.
From the 314, the Cardinals and the media remind me of Shallow Hal. When looking at the current roster and team, it's not as good as what they believe it is.
Oh,
what's the one thing
the moral of the story there was, though, that it's about, who we are inside that matters.
It sure does, Anthony.
You're talking about the internal options.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
From the 314, we were talking about being a part of the Bills Mafia. Jamie going through a table with a Josh Allen jersey and the banana hammock would be a great commercial.
No doubt.
That would be a must, actually. I would probably get a Bills Speedo custom designed.
Yeah.
For sure.
Logo right there.
Josh Allen's face right on my crotch. Let's go, Bills.
Bills logo on the back.
Yep. Let's go, baby.
No one circles the wagons better than Jamie Rivers.
Jumping Buffalo right on his butt. I like it, Jamie.
It's frozen stiff.
It's the replay coming off from 6 to 7.
Exactly what you're thinking.
For Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. See you.